those stakeholders that have written submissions, as Chairperson has already alluded earlier on, they will be given an opportunity to talk to their submissions and then also submit them to the committee. And then item number 7, it will be vote of thanks. And then item number 8, it will be lunch and departure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwala. Without a waste of time, I will request the Honorable du Plessis to come in and make an input from our NCOP, as she is our permanent delegate here in our province. Honorable du Plessis, you can come.
Thank you very much, Chair. And this is what I was going towards earlier. Apologies for jumping ahead in the agenda. As you are all aware, this is an incredibly important amendment to a bill that focuses on protecting the vulnerable in society. Unfortunately, we are, as politicians, inundated with stories of elderly abuse, physical, emotionally, as well as financially. This bill is here to ensure that there is coordination amongst various parts of government so that there is a whole of government or whole of society approach in order to protect the rights of the elderly. As you are aware, the first definition that has shifted within this bill or amendment is to change the age framework of an older person or an elderly person. So for men, it's 65 and up, and women, it would be 60 and up. It is incredibly important that we look through this bill and see that the measures of compliance, which means accountability, which means that when something happens to an elderly person, that something happens and the person that has perpetrated this crime or this abuse is in fact taken through legal processes. This bill also focuses quite a bit on shutting down old age homes or any institution that is non-compliant as well as not registered. There's also a part of this bill, something that we all need to look into, is when abuse happens or there's an allegation of abuse, that the SAPS takes it seriously, especially when it is abuse at a home base or at any institution. There are one or two questions, and I think we can engage on it going forward, but we do need to ensure that the elderly are aware of their rights and the protection that is within this bill. And I was just saying to my colleague, growing up, I never thought to ever abuse the elderly, and most of us in this room have never even thought of it. And we are now in a place that we need to put an amendment bill to protect our elders, to protect the people that carry wisdom with us, which is also something that the bill is looking into, is how do we cross-generation share knowledge, wisdom, and experience? Because this is what is necessary for us to become a stronger nation, so that we remember who we are and we improve going forward. So I'm looking forward to a robust conversation, and thank you very much, Honourable Chair and the GPL.
Thank you very much, Honourable du Plessis, for the good inputs. You are correct. When I grow up, I never thought that older people can be abused. Things that we are seeing now are very scary. And when you also think that one day you are also going to be old, and you said, I can look the other way, I'm not an older person, you are going there. And the abuse will be 10 times what you see on social media now. So we are now going to request our official from National Department of Social Development so that she can take us through this bill, so we can understand what is happening in this chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, and 6 that are so important that we feel like you must also make inputs in those chapters. Mem Mutle, the floor is yours. You can carry on with the presentation. Thank you.
Batswadi, Dumelang gape. Ke a leboga go kry-a sebaka sa go presenta pele ga lena today. And ke tshepa gore re tlo boledišana kere. Ke a tseba polelo ya mo Gauteng re tlo mixa, re e bitsa mix it akere. Re Sezulu, Sesotho, Sekgowa. Ke bone ge re le ko Free State maabane maloba la boraro. Batswadi ba rena ba ile ba lla ka matla gore polelo ya Sekgowa ga ba ekwe gabotse. And ra lemoga gore ka nnete re tshwanetse re bolele re be mo maemong a lena gore re kwane. Re na le molao o re leng gore kwa batsofe Act e leng gore ga gona jwale re go na le di amendment e leng gore ke Act number 13 of 2006. A la e tshwara mare ke nyaka gore le tsebe gore ke Bible ya rena Act e. O ka se bereke le batsofe wa se tsebe molao o. O tshwantse ka mo filing ya gago ge o le ka mo service center o le ko residential facility ka metlha o bane le ona o tlo tshwara ona o tlo tshwara bill ka metlha o tshwantse o refere mo molao o theo o wa rena wa older persons. Ko mathomong re bolela ka di definition tse leng hore ka ge Duplessis a setse a boletse go na le di changes mo go molao o wa rona. Ke tla ibitsa Principal Act kona o ileng hore o ile wa phasishwa ka 2010 ko parlamenteng. Ka ge go bana le diphetogo nako le nako diphetogo tse dintša tše e leng hore re tlo bolela ka tšona mamotlha ke tšona tše e leng hore na di sa covering or na go na le di shortcomings mo molaotheo o wa rena. Mo di definitioneng tsa rena abuse na kwela na re ke tswa ko Mamelodi a ke mo pedi o tlhapileng o ileng hore o bolela se se tlhapileng Sepedi ke tlo mixa. Abuse means era hore go ya le ka molao o go na le tse e leng hore na isa di cover. So mo amendmenting ya rena re edile tse ding tse e leng hore ke tlo bolela ka tsona morago. Caregiver mathomong na re lebelletse motho a trainilweng na re sa lebella gore motho wa ka gae le yena re ka mmitsa gore ke caregiver. A ke re tlhokometse batswadi ba rena ko gae yaanong na re sa le cover lena le tlhokomelang batswadi or le tlhokomelang ke bana ba lena ba le tlhokomela na re sa include a caregiver re lebeletse a member of the family. So hape older person mo mengwageng ela na re lebeletse gore mme o tshwantse be le gore o 60 ntate o tshwantse be le gore o 65. Mo amendmenting wa lekano re bolela an older person e tla be e le gore ke motho o ileng gore o na le mengwaga e 60 and above a go sana le kgethollo mo bontateng le bommeng. Gape molao o tlo change go include a person mo malobeng na re bolela fela ka trust but ha hona eno go tlo bana le amendment go include a jurisdict person. So hape le mo residential facility a ke re residential facility re lebelletse magae a rena a ileng hore a tlhokometse bagodi a ileng hore re a bitsa di old age home. So mo molaong wa hona enong e leng amendment bill re tlo include le tsela tse ileng hore mo malobeng na re ke ke tsa ko makgoweng na ile hore ba include fela batho ba e leng hore a ba kgone ho itirela ba need 24 hours service but mo gona yanong re tlo include le ba e leng hore a se gore o need 24-hour service o kgone go itirela mara o no nyaka support independent o sa kgone ho tsena a raila a tswa a tsamaya and mara ba ka be ile hore ba mo kolmakela ka montlong a dulang ka mo go yona o kreya 24-hour security mo homeung mara yena o sa kgona o sa tswa a itirela and then le assisted living leng hore o a tlhokanyana support mola le mola so ke some of the additions tse leng hore mo billing re tlo bolela ka tsona mo chapter 1 na ke lebeletse di definition mo molaong o leng hore ke re principal act ke di definition tsa rena mola so mo chapter 1 mo principal act e bolela ka hore molao o wa batsofe ke o cover bo mang di objects tsa ona ke gore eng le eng e bolela hape le ka di rights a ke re na le ditokelo batswadi baka di rights tsa older persons di ring and o implementiwa ke bo mang ke di departments tse di feng tse ileng go di implementa molao o wa rena o le hore go padile jwang hore o sa diragala fully o sa implementiwa fully so the amendments tse tsa rena tse re tlo bolelang ka tsona e tlo bolela ka integration ya di departments tse ding tsa government both nationally provincially and locally le gore ke di departments tse di feng tseo re di tlhokang gore di services tsa older persons di be fully implementable re a kwana mo ga ke re batswadi baka ke bolela ka chapter 1 ya act principal act a ke so tsene mo bili ke tlo tsena mara bili le act di tsama mmogo gore o bane le tsebo o tshwantse o bale principal act ya rena molaotheo le tloya le checke le di social worker tsa rena ga ile gore ha o kgonne gore o kreye act le tshwantse le kreye go di service centers tsa lena le ko magaeng gore bana ditlogolo di le balle akere ba eleng gore a re kgone go ipalla molao o so mo chapter 1 ke yona e ke boletseng ka yona and le gore di older persons ka metla le tshwantse le tlhomphiwe ke all officials whether o ya ko clinicing whether o ilo kreya tšhelete ya hao ko spa or ko Pick and Pay o tshwanetse go kreya the respect if o fihlile furugo re tshepa hore molao o wa rena o tlo bolela hore di first lane a kere peleng na re tla wa kreya ditlogolo di tsena mo pele ha lena di le tsenella mo di line so molao o bolela hore first lane all departments whether private or government le tshwantse le kere priority as older persons so you must always be respected protected and then le hore tsebo elena le nyona re anye le refe le rena re tla lefa ya sekgowa ke re gona enong le bereka ka di phone so bana ba itse phone go feta lena le rena so the inherent dignity e leng hore le a itlhoka is re tshwanetse hore ka metla re le feng yona as the officials and always le ska kreya hore gona le ba mmala or gona le ba eleng hore ba kreya le kreya discrimination so mo chapter 2 ya rena ke tlo ba fastinyana a ke tlo tsenella thata mo chapter 2 ya rena re bolela ka gore le kreye ditirelo tse di tshwanetseng and le di rights tsa lena always di be protected and le kreye support e leng gore department always e tla le supporta if le nyako kreye di service centers le tshwanetse ka mehla le mehla le berekisane le di social worker tsa lena gore le kreye seo le se tlhokang seo le se labelabelang if le nyako thoma mokgatlo always le berekisane le di officers tsa rona and le gore le na le right eo ya go thoma mokgatlo but mokgatlo ga o thoma o ska o thoma gore kwaka e tshwanetse ebe mokgatlo wa rena wa community ke boletseng ka gore e ska ba an individual thing ka gore ha o tlhokofala mole family e re ke tlapo ya papa or ke tlapo ya mma ke property ela e leng gore na o kry support ya department e o reketse ditofo le di eng ba re ke tsa rena so ka molao o mompia o re tseo e tshwantse e be ntho ya kgale e tshwantse re bereke bjale ka community as jurisdiction people not a person so mo chapter 3 e bolela ka community based services ditlapo tsa rena and mo chapter 4 e bolela ka di residential facilities tsela tsa rena tse leng hore re ya he setse re hlele re khona go itirela a ke re mo community based services ke mo e leng hore le ya in the morning motshegare le boela gae and ke e leng hore mo molaong wa gona jwale re gatella hore people must remain in the community for as long as possible ge ile gore ha o sa khona go itirela mo e leng hore o need us as a service ya a residential facility social worker o tla a dire di investigation and if gona le space to place then re tlo bolela ka chapter 4 e leng hore o tlhoka a residential facility whether as an independent living or o tlhoka ela e leng hore o freely ha o sa khona and as muso re na le ka ge di budget cuts re na le tsona mo hong di facilities tse ding tsa rena older people or the families mo hong go diragala gore because the residential facilities tsa rena ha di own or di governed ke government tse ding ke di NPOs go diragala gore family e tshwantse e go bane le bonnyane bo e leng gore ba bo patela wa kreya gore koko yanong tšheletela na e kreya ha sa e kreya e ya ka mo facility and ke mo e leng gore most families ha ba dumele ba nyaka gore koko a ye ko a residential facility mar bona ba tshware tšhelete a go kgonagale koko o tlhoka di nyakwa tsa gagwe still so o movaleng le tšhelete ya gagwe then ha sa tlo kreya grant ele ya gagwe ya 2000 now ke facility e tlabe e humana tšhelete ya gagwe so re bolela ka chapter 4 so mo chapter 5 ke mo e leng hore mo molao wa principal act re bolela ka protection ya older persons so mo protection ya older persons ke mo e leng hore now re ke yona thata e leng hore bill ya rena e gatella hore older persons must be protected mo la khale o social worker pele a shiftisa an older person na tshwantse a kreye a ye court apply for removal ya an older person. Ya hona yanong, I can even remove an older person without a court order. So, ke molao theo o wa rena wa a principal act, jwale ke tlo tsenella mo billing ya rena. Pampiri e le tshwere molao theo o le tshwereng o ileng hore re tlo khopela di inputs tsa lena mamohla. Se ntate na bolela hore re tlo ba bang le tlo di ngwala la emaila mo gong le tlo tla la botsisa diputsiso mabapi le molaotheo o. If e sa covere tse e leng hore le di lebelletsa a ke re gona yanong go tleng ga lena le represent other older persons ba e leng hore mo Gauteng a ra khona nke be re tletse re tladitse holo e mo Johannesburg. So you are representing other older persons if you are here. So mo discussion ya rona ka jeno mo billing e ya rena molaotheo o wa rena o the bill e lebelletse go amenda Older Persons Act, which is the principal act. It will include new definitions. I can relate the definition more principal acting. So new definition relating to monitoring and evaluation. The social worker, mapodisa, any other person or ilong is rendering a service to older persons. Uatla akatla ko gae ge ile gore go na le allegation ya abuse, just to come ato check gore le phela jwang le phidishana jwang ana ka mo neibeng tsa lena go na le phidishano na. So chapter ke some of the new definitions tse ilong gore e tla be e le gore who monitor and evaluate services for older persons. Hape bill ya rena ke boletse ka removal ya an older person to a temporary safety. If an older person are abusive and re feel strongly hore ka nnete koko wa ka next door wa abusive, wena o ka report hore ha ke nya go tsibiwa ke khopela le ma social worker le lo tlhola ka next door koko wa mo senteng ya rena o ka re bana ba hae ba mo tseela tšhelete mara a ke nya gore e tle ka nna. So you can still report. Molao o wa o dumella to report. So again go na le di gap tse e leng hore molao o wa rena na go na le di gap mo molao o wa rena wa act ya older persons. So ha re gopola re na le ntho re bitsang di golden games ya kere le a itse ka di golden games go di tlapong a kere. So go fa motlhala di active aging program re na le di departments tsa tshwana le social development, re na le premier's offices, re na le SAPSI, re na le Department of Sports and Recreation, and re na le di local authorities tsa rena tse ileng hore this program e a tura. So go fa motlhala Department of Social Development e ka se kgone go tshwara program e nosh. So in need other departments like sports and recreation go ba rekela di track suit, go le rekela di track suit o di teki. Premier office e tla re na re tla covera transport o le dijo. So la bona gore di departments tse tsotlhe tse ke di mentionileng di lebelletse older person, just one group which is older persons. So mama go morago kwa na ile gore social development ka bo yona e a imelwa in noshi because ke a lead departments. Other departments in there nas ibile raba budgetela ibile so mo molaong o bill e re nida bo batho bo botlhe ba these departments, this government, whether ke national, provincial, local, re tshwantse e be e le hore re khata keke e bo bohle o mong le o mong, whether ke go dila le di housing le yona e tshwantse e re stake sa rena asise older persons re re percentage e kaka re tlo cover for older persons, youth, women. So all departments must cater for the needs of older persons. So na go sene coordination e leng hore bili e tlo addressa this gap. Ke yona e leng hore ka 2010 ge o passiswa, other departments na ba phuthile matsogo ba re budget older persons as stakeholders are mo re lebeletse hore older person is key. Le tlo kreya integration ka active aging ka mkho ke tlhalositse departments le a bona o mong le mong o tsentsha letsogo, no, and hape is strengthen monitoring and evaluation. Here is a community based like Yalin. Re expect our social development ebeteng, re expect our subs ebeteng, because subs nako nngwe le beile dijo tsa lena, le beile diphatlo tsa lena, bashimane batla ba utswa. So they must know gore the services for older persons bagay, and they must do rounds to protect older persons, because nako nngwe le tsene bashimane batla ba gunpoint ba tsia whatever e leng hore, and ke trauma for older persons. So police must also be part. So we expect hore during monitoring we can do who check hore all facilities are compliant with the norms and standards. Say long hore as department, especially Department of Social Development, resetile those standards, and we expect hore if an older person aya to a residential facility, it's on e registered batswadi baka. Re a tsena re isa batswadi ba rena to di mushroom. Koko ha tlhokomele, ntate mogolo ha tlhokomelwe. Moswa because o nyaka mmereko. Ha iso a ireng ka motswadi ya gagwe, o misa to an unregistered facility. Mo e leng hore ha ba je pila, ha ba tlhokomelwe pila. So re bolela hore as social development we have to do monitoring and evaluation of those centers. And again le hore chapter 5 ele ke boletseng ka yona e dilang ka protection. Older persons ba protected, and if an older person is abused, whether ba tsere tšhelete ya gago, whether ba o rapile, older persons must be able, ba tshwanetse gore ba thusiwe ka language e ba e utlwisisang. If o ya court, o tshwanetse o kreye ba o botsa gore o ya court ka tsatsi le lefeng, nako mang, he le gore o tshwanetse gore o testify ka mo court go na le perpetrator, o tshwanetse o kreye the service ya gore na ke nyako testifier in camera mo e leng hore a ke kopane le monno or a ke kopane le moshimano. So you must be protected, you must be offered that service ya intermediary. Intermediary ke mo e leng hore wena as mogodi, social worker or any, whether ke moruti wa hao, whether ke somebody o e leng hore you trust, a serve as an intermediary ko court gore na a ke tsebe sekgowa ke nya khuluma ndia theta ha ba o interpretele ka language ya gago. If o feel hore a ke ne tšhelete ya go ya court, the service ba o late ko gae, ba o isa police station o ba o isa ko court, back. If o tshwere ke tlala, ba provide food. Ya o dumella molao o. Bili tlo kore chapter 5 hona enong e le rata kudu ka matla. So make use berekiseng molao o wa chapter 5. Chapter 5 ya bili ya rena e leng hore once re feditse ka this public hearings, once NCOP e feditse ba rile ba itshayetse monwana e ba molao. A tlo felela mo Gauteng, like ke boletse ke tswa ke le Free State na re le Free State for consultation e tshwana le ya ka jeno. Ba bang ba go KZN, ba bang ba Western Cape di colleague tsaka. So re boletse ka di definitions, re boletse ka new definitions tse ileng hore na di sego mo molao mo principal act. Ke new definitions e leng hore e boletse ke tlhalositse ka assistive living, independent ke mola batho ba kgonang go tsena ba reila mare ba le ka mo legaeng go na le di camera di ba tlhokometse 24 hours. And le hore caregiver ke mang? A ke re caregiver ke boletse ka hore ke motlhokomedi wa hao. And a caregiver e ka ba motho wa ka mo hae, or a caregiver e ka ba e le hore ke motho o atlang a tlo provide home based wa tla wa tsamaya every day o ka mo hae. So the caregiver le ena e tshwantse e be somebody o ileng hore o trainilwe, mara ka mo hae a re expect hore bana ba hao ba trainiwe. Mara if e le hore go na le di in-service training mo e leng hore re bolela ka malwetse a o tshwana le dementia, a ke re ga ona benong ra itse gore ntse re gola ba bang re experience malwetse a fapafapaneng, bo Alzheimer's, re feletsa re re motho re mmitsa gore ke eng, ba re o etsang wa loya, o bolela ka batho ba ba huileng ke moloya kere. And then mantswe ona ao ke ona a ileng hore a mang a ona a tlo re tsentsha tronkong ka hore hentse motho a gola go na le di changes. Ba bang nako nngwe o re o apere roko ha o fetsa o tswile mola o apere di pijama, or nako nngwe motho o tswa a sa apara kante ke bolwetse a ke re batswadi baka. So tshwantse malwetse a o tshwana le ao re tlhokomele, re rutele bana ba rena hore ba ska re tshuma ba re ba loya kere. Le nna papa o boletsa re yena in 20 years o tla be e le an older person, na in 9 years ke tla be ke le an older person. So molao o he re o ira re tshwantse le rena re itebelle gore o tlo re berekela na, a ke re batswadi baka. So a caregiver ke boletse ka yona to include family members, and then hape re bolela ka hore le na le tsebo e ntšhi ka mo mabjokong a lena as ba khudi ya kere. So molao o lebeletse hore lena as batswadi le berekisane le youth, le ka ya go di kerekeng la ruta or la invite di social workers to go tla go sedimusa phuthego tsa lena ka hore youth e tshwantse e respecta older persons. Nako nngwe wena as an older person wa service center wa ya wa khopela moruti wa ga gore nna re nyako bolela ka during International Day for Older Persons re nyako bolela ka di rights tsa older persons. So o na le maikarabelo a go ruta other older persons ka di rights tsa bona. So re fela re bolela re re mahlako a maso a dirang a ema ka a matala kere. Ke ka Sepedi a ke tsore ka Sezulu le reng, mare e re hape rutang bana ditaola le se le tsona badimong. So re bolela ka intergenerational solidarity mo e leng hore batjha ba ithuta mo go lena. And ka mokgwa ke boletseng hore molao o tshwanetse go protect older persons, especially mo e leng hore motho o bitsiwa moloi. Mo section 5 go na le molao o e leng hore ba tlo o tsentsha o e leng hore e thusa gore eliminate traditional practices tse e leng hore motho o tla be e leng hore magoshi a rena, especially ko magaeng, bo magoshi if maswa ba tla ba re motho o ke moloi a bile a ba jika-jiki ba felletsa ba tshumile koko. So mo section 4 e tlo protecta tsona tseo tse e leng hore motho o accuseiwa as a witch. So ke boletse hape hore younger generation ba tshwantse ba berekisane le older people. Ke file le diema gona mogo. And hape registration ya di community-based services. If go na le need mo community ya lena, mo e leng hore a gone a community service center, pele ebile o thoma e ya to a social worker and le identify le o mmotse hore there's a need bo koloko ba rena bo nkgono ba rena a gone activity ba e dirang mo letsatsing. Social worker e tla go thusa hore service center eo e registeriwa byang. Is ka be ile hore le operator a service center without even e registeriwa or office ya rena e tseba. So always ha re direng hore di facilities tsa rena di a registeriwa, and the social worker a di botsiwe ko mafelellong mo e leng hore ke khale le operator a se gore ga una le NPO registration you can operate and wa ba right and wa kry funding. The social worker di tshwanetse di berekisane le lena di le thuse go registera di facilities tsa lena and di monitore di facilities tsa lena. A ke re batswadi ya re boletse hape le ka di caregivers tsa rena gore di tshwanetse di kry training ya ke, and hape le gore ke boletse ka assisted and independent living le di registration tsa di facilities tse leng hore ke boletse ka residential facilities le tsona di tshwanetse di registeriwe, di ska operatiwa without di le registered. Ka hobane if di registera di operator without being registered, abuse e ka diragala gona mo. A gone motho a tlang for monitoring le ka se kgone go ya le even le go di social working le lo reporter because le operator illegal. So mo molaong o mompia o fa di social worker matla a hore ba kaya ba tswalela that facility, and e tshwanetse hore go bane le plan ya hore if ke tswalela facility di families di a notifyiwa hore e tlang le tlo tseya batsofe ba lena, or if go na le mo re ka tseyang batsofe ba lena ra ba isa go teng re tla dira jwalo. But are encourage hore batho ba ipulele di facility without the social worker tsa rena di tseba ka those facilities, because le tla be le re social development rena re kreye ka mmereko re kreye ka di tšhelete because bana ba rena ba bereke. Re bolela ka maphelo mo, re bolela ka maphelo a older persons, and re ka se dumele hore older persons ba be abused, because re boletse ka chapter 5 ya protector older persons. Again re boletse hape hore go tlo bana le molao o re fa matla a go tswalla di non-compliant the services whether ke community-based le residential facilities. And hape molao o wa bili e ya rena e tlharamolla sexual abuse who include abuse tse e leng hore ha hona eno ko di forumong ra itse batswadi baka di forumu di na le mathata ke nna ko locationeng la ko Atteridgeville batswadi ba threateniwa ke bana ba bona ba nyaka dintlu akere ba nyaka dintlu tsa lena motho tla ba o signisitse hore ntlu e ke hae. That's abuse batswadi o signa without will ya hao akere wa o gapeletsa o beile thipa mo and ra itse hore ditlogolo tsa rena ba bang ba robala le batswadi ba bang ba bokoko ba bona sexually and la chaba go report akere batswadi la chaba o report hore wa gogo wa se next door o abuse sexually ke mntwanaki because e dirang ke embarrassment wa chaba o chaba le go bolela ge o iragalla tseba hore o na le tokelo ya go reporta abuse whether e diragala go go wena o e diragala go moagisaneng wa gago report. So sexual abuse e tla be include bili ya rena e leka e tlhalosa ga go gore sexual abuse e include eng. So mo section 30 go na le di insertion tse ding di include gore khale Minister wa Social Development ona a tshwanetse go keep a register akere case ha thoma e reportiwa and a person ba mo kreya hore o na le molato ba mo latlhela ba mo gweba 10 years a ya tronkong case ela from justice because if edile yana minister wa justice o tshwanetse a romele di cases tse di finalized to the Minister of Social Development. So mo malobeng di molao wa pele na o sa tlhalose gore ke mang a tshwanetseng go provide the Minister wa Social Development ka statistics tsa abuse ya finalized cases tse ileng hore motho o tshwere o tronkong gona yanong. So re tshwanetse re tsebe statistics gore di cases tse di finalized from the Department of Justice ke tse kae. Minister wa Social Development ha le ko portfolio committee ko parliament le ha ba ka mmutsisa hore how many cases of abuse does your di registrar ya hao ena le batho ba bakae ha gona beno mo Gauteng le case e wana re ne yona mabane na ke ngwala kotara ya bobedi ke provider kota 2 case tsa abuse mo Gauteng a di go le phela mnata a gone case di teng di case batswadi la di reporta di case tseo okay HOD re tlo bona ka kota number 3 re na le di case batswadi ba re bana le di case tse ntši ba tlo di reporta as from Monday agere forum le gona forum for older persons le gona kere re tlo bona ka lena le representa older persons le re di case di teng di social worker re khopela le reporting mo abuse register re nyoko bona abuse register mo Gauteng e operator ha gona eno it's only Eastern Cape and Western Cape ba e leng hore ba reporta ka abuse. A ke tsene dipolotiki. Mo e leng hore bili ya rena e empowera the clerk of court go keep a registera le go provide a minister of social development ka registera ya all convictions. Re itshware as the Department of Social Development. Malobeng molao o na o sa fe the clerk of court. Mar ha gona jwale e fa the clerk of court go re fa information. Go ya ke ya bokhutlong and re boletse ka non-compliance mo e leng hore the service the facilities tsa rena they must be compliant, and then monitoring and evaluation services di diriwe, especially mo e leng hore go na le allegations tsa abuse. Nka bereka le SAPS, healthy if a satle and go na le case ya rape, go tshwantsa checkiwe on nkhulu a checkiwe if ba mmethile o bulehile tlhogo o tshwantse aye ba mo stitche, case e budiwe ko police station, and motho a mo sotlakileng or a mo abusitseng a latiwe case e re bona hore ka nnete ya khoto e bile motho wa kweba akere go bana le eo ya hore e yang go gaile lo bolela I be a thing of the past. Buphelile ngayo angithi. Go fedile ke lehlogonolo, botsa le phodisa hore ke bula case. Le skampotso re lo bolela go gae ke ya slapa. If ngwana au bethile re bone mo di social media bana ba abuse boko kwa kere. Ya rounda. So a re nyako e bona ntho mo Gauteng. Ha re reporting case tsa abuse re bone e le gore re lwantsha abuse mo Gauteng. So ka mantswe ao batswadi baka ke re phansi ke abuse phansi, and molao ona o tlo protecta di rights tsa rena as bagodi ba Gauteng. Ke a leboga batswadi.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Mutle. What I would also like to note, it's the way you articulated this bill to our audience in a vernacular language. I could see that they were following very well with you, and I could see as many as more than 30 that are wearing this gadget, meaning they were following you. Thank you very much for that presentation. And just like I said in my opening remarks, the purpose of today is to hear you out. You know, people when they sit in their offices and do their rounds, come up with a bill, they sometimes feel like they've done enough consultation. But it is during this kind of sessions that you will feel and you will hear constructive inputs that are going to make this bill to be impactful to the lives of our citizens. So without a waste of time, I am going to call the HOD of the Department of Social Development in Gauteng Province to share with us how they have confirmed that we have consulted with them and the department has looked at it and what is their point. Because you might be saying all these things and only to find that the department is saying, no, we don't know anything about this bill. In fact, the content of this bill is the opposite. We don't even see it having one day being budgeted for so that we do take care of you. Ndate Ngoman, the floor is yours. so we can hear from the department what is their inputs.
Okay, sanibonani futhi ngiyabonga kakhulu umgcini sihlalo ngibingelele namalunga eParliament newe legislature la namuhla nathi angihambi ngedwa abantu bakithi ngihamba no mama uKhanyisile Mathebula bengizothi asukume nje anibingelele sukuma akayezwa umama uKhanyisile Mathebula uyi director esebenza ngabo gogo nabomkhulu ku Department of Social Development yiko nje ngifuna nimbone ukuthi manenkinga la eGauteng ningabantu abadala na umuntu omele azixazulula inkinga zenu sisikhaya then eduze kwakhe ngihamba no mama uKiba Ntwampe uyi mude kakhulu kena ngiceleze ngapha ukuthi nizombona uyi director ye social development la eJohannesburg so mangabe uhlala eSoweto eAlexandra anywhere Sandton mawuhlala nje so eJoburg uyu mama uphethe wonke ama social worker wethu la so manenkinga ke bantu abadala ezidinga ama social workers eJoburg na umama uKiba Ntwampe kumele utholakala la eFox Street e41 sisikhanya utholakala e69 Commissioner Street la eJohannesburg angeke ngibe mude kakhulu bantu bakithi ngiyathemba manje ngikhuluma isiZulu nankinga or ngifuna ngikhuluma isilungu all right ngoba phela abazukulu sebakhuluma isilungu manje ngisho bafundiswa yini ngithi umnyango wezenhlala kahle yaseGauteng siyaxhasa kakhulu lo msebenzi owenziwa ilegislature ukuthi umthetho ushintshwe ngoba masubuka ngalendlela abafuna ukushintsha ngayo umthetho usho ukuthi kakhulu ufuna ukuqinisa la iphepheni kwabantu abadala ukuthi nibe safe and mangabe khona lapha enhlukunyezeka khona thina singama social worker uhulumeni sikhona ukunisusa sinimix endaweni lapha enizophepha khona ngaphandle kokuthi siloku si round sifuna amagcwetha sifuna inkantolo ukuthi zithathe isinqumo esithi ungasuswa lapho so that then means it will help in advancing older persons safety and welfare in Gauteng but also in the country so we support the legislation we support the amendments and once it's pronounced it's proclaimed it's endorsed and approved by National Assembly, we should be able to implement it as a department. Chairperson, I will not want to be long. I would like to stop there and hand over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much from the department, our own department. These are the ones that have the budget. These are the ones that can go and lobby the Treasury to make sure that this bill is funded. I am now going to give you the chance to participate. Now is your time. I hope my people have been moving around, giving you something to eat, giving you something to drink, because now it is your time. I'm going to start on my left. Look at my left. That is that side. I know when I point this side, the TV point. It is you this side. Yes. And then after that, I'm gonna, where is the roving mic? The roving mic, people with the roving mic, because I want the people who are going to speak, all of them must come here in front. Yes. And then I will end this side. This side, let us take the hands. Okay, when I point at you, you come this side. Ne? Mama, put your hands up. Isha matsogo di otherwise ke tlo le tshela. And then the rule is that 3 minutes. How ka fita 3 minutes ke tlo stop. So you bua di points tsa how fast. O ka no dumedisa all of us o re ke le dumedisa kaofela o ska re ke dumedisa chairperson le wena le ma e tlo jela 3 minutes ya hao ndati. So dumedisa kaofela o bo kena tabeng tsa hao so that 3 minutes a fitla ke ska o kwala. Ha ke o biditse o tle mo pele ke tshaba gore go bane le batho ba ile reng ba tlo re bona ba batla o bua because ba utlwile o bua something ya go Soweto le bona ba batla o bua ka yona go Soweto. Phagamisang ke le boneng. Mme mo pele mo mama mo pele mo gausi le ntate wa Katiba ke a o bona ko wena ya emelela o tle kwana. And then ka sitinya ka morao bomme ba ithuki a le bona etlang. Ntate ka morao ke a o bona. Then ntate ka Katiba ye yellow emelela o tle kwano. Okay, let's go misa ka morao. Meko koneng. Phama ko bona. Wena, ya. Ntate wa Katiba ye yellow ko biditse itla. Botsa ntate o ro kentse Katiba ye yellow mmolelle hore ntate wa o bitsa. Bona o supa ba bangwe. Yena o. Abuti ka morao wa ntate wa Katiba ye yellow Tlou. Ntate wa ntwe green ke a o bona etla. Ntate wa ntwe skipper says white Tlou. The last one Tlou ke a o bona ka Katiba ye red. Hona lo ke mo misitse mo be ke o misitse wa phama ke a o bitsa mare etla ke a o bona. Ke ntho tse ke sa di batleng tseo. And then Tlou nka mo ke na le lona ka. Ha ke le bitsa letlang. Ntate ka Katiba ye white Tlou number 1. Bona bondate. A re qaleng hantle he. Phagamisang ke a le bitsa. Bomme etlang le mme ka mo fase ke a mona etlang. Bomme le ntate ka morao Tlou, ntate mme wa ntho ya mokgatlo. Ke a o bona mme wa mokgatlo. Ntate wa mokgatlo mongwe ke a o bona. Gaufi le ena o na le ntate ko. Ntate wa kepisi ka suit. Mme ke a o bona Tlou. Bomme ba ithu itlang ke a le bona Tlou le lithu. Tlou le lithu menie rexin yo daso komiso. We are done. So how to ba le waves. Ke na le lona ka mo phagamisang ke le boneng. Phagamisang sipho wa nthuse ka mo mora wa screen una le wa phagamiseng. And then lena le tlo dula ka kwa ka la le ska mixana le ba kere le eng ka kwa. Mo lining number 1 o teng. Okay. Mme wa Katiba ye white Tlou. Ke a o bona mme. Ausi ke a o bona Tlou. Mme wa le Pepe. Mme o mongwe wa Katiba white phagama. Le mogotsi wa o gaufi le wena. Ntate wa di brele tsa o tshwana le tsaka. It's just that side di dimilwe haholo. Me fro exin yo Tlou. Ausi ka kepisi. Aha, ka o fela lona le aka. A ona o ke mosileng a kere. O batla o ba joina Tlou ge. 3 minutes baholo 3 minutes ke very strict ka 3 minutes ya ka. Asi ibe on the bill. O bompolella hore o ko chapter mang. O bompolella hore ha ile hore ha o tlo bua ka bill. O tlo bua ka storage e leng blocked ko Tsakane. A se IDP meeting. re bua ka bili ba baholo akere ha re ke protecting ha monyetla o ka feta re lemetse ha o ka bua ka electricity e turu le transformer e tšheleng ko dudisa fase a ke batlo utlwa ka transformer re bua ka protection ya batho ba baholo re bua ka protection ya Chairperson Tlou Chokoe in the next 25 years protecting a ke batle nna ke tlo tsofala ke be ke tlo shapa ke bana protecting akere me qala mo abakiwe ya abaqale ke atima re kutlwe ke kopa lenken di notes so that re kgoneng o tswela pele thank you very much. We are starting with the first speaker. You introduce yourself, where you come from. If you are from any organization, state it that I'm from this organization. If you are just from Soweto or from Tembisa or from anywhere, just state it. Tembisa, it is your right. And then oboke na ditabi. 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Sanbonani, Dumelang, Masiare. Ngicela ukubingelela the leadership elapha kwethu. Bathi singabingelela. Okay. Igama nguThembeka wakaMaduna. nguThembeka wakaMaduna, the convener yama veteran ku ANC. Mina I'm so impressed ukuthi ukuza kwabo phakathi kwendawo bazositshela ngalento bekade singayazi. I-abuse abantu abadala, it's true siya abuse singabantu abadala. So ziningi izinto mhlambe sizacela ukuthi sifundiswe ngazo singabantu abadala ukuthi what to do and where. Okokuqala nje, some of us are caregivers, but we want now to be trained ngoba engathi iyaluleka le ndawo. Fanele ukuthi amaphoyisa asazi, ikliniki basazi where to report the social workers and each and everything. Ngikhuluma ngeprotection chapter 3. Leyo ke sifuna seriously singabantu abadala because angeke ngisho inde eyokuthi sithathelwa izindlu singabomama singabogogo siya abuse le angeke ngiyibalise ngiclarifela nje chapter 3 akere. And then ngibona ngathi sesinelungelo lokuvula ama NPO abangakawavuli ukuthi where abantu abadala bazokhona ukureporta khona ba report what they want and what they don't want nama abuse abo. Angeke ngibe mude ngizabamfisha ngoba really I'm really impressed. Ngizobangena nje ngoba ngibabhalile amagama abo before behamba ngizabe ngibanika ama proposals engiwabhalile mangiyohlala phansi ithi mabehamba ke babe bawatholile. Ngicela ukuthi ngiyidedeke le ndawo ngoba serious kwamampela ngiyigagu ngingakhuluma 24/7 ngizayikhatha nje very short ngiyohlala phansi ngibhale all the proposal ngoba ngizwile ngama chapters wonke abakhulume ngawo our protection ne training. But then mina ngokwami the way ngizwe ngakhona ngitoyikupela ke tsebe eukisa homang. Ngiyazicelela ukuthi ngibe police station manje serious ngibe whistleblower yala ngihlala khona for abagogo ukuthi bazoreporta ba-report police station because they don't care of any people abantu abadala mabezoreporta. Kuyayikupela kibe officing yamroka for the older people to come and report to us. Thank you. Ngizabamfisha ngiyobhala phansi. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you. 3 minutes. Thank you, Mama. Those who are going to be more than 3 minutes and tatemulo yasule komrao. Hako stopa all your points se osadi buangu disa kon tatemulo emelan tatemulo ba obon. Emelan tate John asule komrao. Ha o ka tlola 3 minutes. Ko rumela kon tatemulo o tla mo fa di points tseo tsa hao mola. Thank you. Start.
Sanmonani nonke. Mrs. Florence Mlangeni wase Jameson Park elisedi ku Ward 10. Ikhansela yethu uGeorgina Phillips. Ngicela ukuthi ngizoyenza isicelo kakhulu. Sicela ipolice station eJameson Park. Asazi ukuthi si reporta kuphi uma kwenzakalani sinenkinga eziningi. kukhona igebengu ezisingenelayo ngisho nalabo kubogogo la ngihlala khona kuke kwatshontshwa kanti lapha mkwethu sikucivic abantwana bahlala lapho bathengisa ama drugs badlisa abantwana bethu into ezimbi asazi ukuthi sizoreport phi ngoba siphakathi kweHeidelberg neNigel masiya masifonela eNigel ithi wozani nizo reporter sometimes asinayo imali yokuya khona sivele singazi ukuthi senze njani ngoba ukuya khona ngaleso sikhathi abazukusiza ngespeed kwesinye isikhathi nalento besizoyicela ukuthi sibatshele yona siba reportele sigcina sikuyekile lokho ngoba abasizanga kukhona into eyinengi nabogogo bayahlukumezeka nabantwana bayahlukumezeka kulamalanga lawo kukhona abantwana abalahlekayo noma ngabe uhamba endleleni khona imoto nje ezihamba zikulandela zifuna abantwana balahlekile abantwana abaningi bayabulawa abantu sinenkinga enkulu singabogogo siyacela tsotso ngoba la sihleli khona asikho safe ngenzeka basingenele noma kunini njengoba bahleli lapho sebadla ama drugs iningi into bangayenza siyacela kakhulu masingayithola nje police station noma ngabe office encane sibe nephoyisa nemoto ezosiza ngespeed masireporta sazi ukuthi siyasizakala nasezindlini bayasingenela uthola ugogo uhleli ngapha kungena abantu ngapha bathathe yonke into sinomunye ugogo esihlala naye bavele bangena akhona babhoda ngale bathatha yonke into yababa wakhona uthe uyabheka ubaba wakhona uyafika ukuthi uthatha into zakhe azisekho shuthi nje asiphephanga singabogogo siyacela tswetswe ngiyabonga
Thank you, Mama. Now, Yaku John.
Khotsong batswadi ke le dumedisa kaofela he batswadi ke tlo potlaka ke tlo bolela ka potlako e kgolo haholo ke nna Johannes Motlou ka ho 10 Jameson Park batswadi re kopa mmuso haholo re na le mathata Jameson Park haholo batsofe ba Jameson Park re na le mathata current ha tshwantse re patale ha masepala ba re ke 1600 ha re ngwadisitse indigents ba o botse hore na o ka afforda bokae ke re mohlomong ke etse minimum ya ka ke re ke tla kgona afforda ho patala 500 empa who current ene ya 1500 tšhelete ena 1000 ha patala 500 who ka indigents 1000 ena ba e behela ka thoko ha selemo se fela mola se le 13000 something hona yo itjena ke kolota 19000 something ho nna he ho sa le betere ba 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 kolota bo 100 and something thousand ke ntho re tla etsang ha re sa sebetsa ne re kopa ho mmuso o re emelehle ba hlakule sekolete sen kaofela mmuso o re bolele hantle o tlamele batsofe ba sena mkgona a re mkgona re hola pension ke lebetse ho tla le yona nyeo lengolo lene ke tlo le bontsha ba mmuso hore last month ke patetse 1600 ka sala ka 500 rand ke phile jwang tšhelete ba e behelang ka thoko ba e behela ha o entsele jwang re a kopa ho mmuso ba phumula koloteng tsena ka fela rune ba sokolang ba re bolelle current hore re patale bokana fela ke sekoloto sa eng se ka thoko ho tjho hore ha nako ntse ya re lo share ntlo a re no rekisa o rekisa ntlo ene ke nka tšhelete ya ka ke a kopa batswadi ke a kopa tswetswe ke fella moo
Sanibonani bazali nabaphathi bethu. Ngibongele thuba engilitholayo manje. Thina bogogo siyahlukumezeka. Kunabogogo ababhalise izindlu njengala ngihlala khona eJameson Park. Siyazithengela abogogo abaningi bazithengele itent. Mabazithengele itent bahlome umkhukhu bahlala lapho emkhukhwini baneminyaka abasanamandla ukuthi bazakhele baneminyaka bahlele emikhukhwini umasipala instead ukuthi abakhele ufuna le current ayishoyo ubaba ukuthi ufuna yona kule mikhukhu abahlala kuyo siyacela ukuthi abaphathi bethu mabasize abagogo bethu thina esabogogo nabanye abagogo abadala abahlala emkhukhwini abangakwazi ukuzakhela izindlu uma izulu lina amanzi futhi akunama drain storage lapha adilize naleyo mikhukhu yabogogo bahlala emanzini abogogo siyacela kakhulu ukuthi bogogo bethu bayahlukumezeka kakhulu ngicela bo minister labahleli khona ngiyabacela abogogo abahlala emkhukhwini babakhele izindlu banganikezi abantwana nabantu bangaphandle izindlu bazofika bahlale la ezindlini zabogogo bethu nabokhokho babantwana bethu ngiyabonga.
Thank you, Mama. Straight to the point.
Baete, ke tlhaga ko Kagiso, nane ke botsa gore gona nonyana go na le bonkgono ba ba bitswang ko governmenteng ko SASSA go te bonkgono bao ba tle ba tlo kwadisa ditšhelete tse di extra ga ba tsena ko SASSA ko SASSA ba ba bolella gore ba tle dipilisi tsa bone ba tlo bona gore ba nwa dipilisi tse di ntseng yang mare tšhelete ga e tsene e ba ba tshepisitseng yone morago ke ge go bonkgono bao bana ba kwalisitse bao ditšhelete tsa bona go nanong ga ba tshwantse ba kry tšhelete ya bone ya SASSA gate ba ditšhelete ga di tsene ko dibankeng ba bane still go nanong yana ga ke bua yana bonkgono ba ga ba ise ba gole ditšhelete tsa bona ga di itse gore di feletse ko kae ka re ba tsamaile ba ile go kwadisa ko SASSA ko gore ba tla tswa tšhelete e nngwe ya nne ke batla go botsa fo teng fo gore bathong yaanong ga ba sa golana gore ga ba na sepe se ba se jang ga gona le bana ba bone ba bang ga ba beke bana ba phela ka yone tšhelete ya SASSA ene yaanong go go ntse yana go berekiwa yang ke a leboga.
Thank you.
Sanbonan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mbonge futhi presenter lethe ibill ebichaza. That was beautiful, well thought out, well documented. One exception. Worried ngabokuku angizange ngikuzwa uba worried ngabomkhulu. Siyacela ke ukuthi ube worried ngabomkhulu. Ngoba eklapini yami eProtea Glen iJogabi khona omkhulu nogogo. Cela ukuthi kube worried ngabo. And thank you to the HOD. Ositshele ukuthi bayapprovile and they know the bill. We would like to know the timeline, please. Izoyenzeka nini ngesiphi isikhathi and get in touch with us. Okugcina kukhona lento yasesasa yenzekayo ukuthi abantu ba change ama cards, the gold cards to the post bank cards. Do you know anything about it? And if you do, please inform us. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Lo chani nonke ngendlini. Ngilochisa amakhosi nabo bonke abakhona ngaphambili. Mina igama lami ngingusipho ngwakasikhosana ngibuya eCaptain Park homeless shelter. Ngingumuntu omdala ngilana nje ngizokhuluma nami ukuthi ngizokubawa ukuthi umthetho lo nengiwuqalile awusakhulumi ngathi ngoba mina ngisazokungena ngisengakafiki le 60 abakhuluma ngawo. Mina ngizokubawa ukuthi umthetho lo ngibawa wehliswe uye ku50 ngombana isikhathi esesiphila kiso nabo bayabona asafani sakade lo 65 into yabekwa amakhuwa umbuso wekhetlo solufikile weNC ayikho into ichangeile usaberegela phezulu kwezinto zamakhuwa. Mina ngizokuba ukuthi awehle ngoba bayazi nabo sekhona neclimate change bayibona nabo into zanje nokudla esikudla nje angeke sisakhona ukufikelela sibambe leminyaka abayibalile. Ngiloko kokuthoma engikubawayo. Bese kwesibili ngizokubawa ukuthi ngizwile wonke ama department bawabalile akhona kodwana lana engiqala la kule list yawo ama department ababeregisana nawo iHome Affairs angiyiboni. Ngibawa bafake neHome Affairs ekutheni nethi wonke umuntu omdala njengoba sengithwile nabanye esihlala ngeitradini khona ngedrobheni mina ngikhulumela abantu abahlala la drobheni njengami nje ukuthi ngibawa sisizakale nesiya lapha eHome Affairs ngoba ngihlala ngestradini ngisengakabereki sengiphelele embereko sikhona ukutholakala ama-ID la basihelebhe sithola ama-ID mahala bese kunye engizokubawa kokugcina la ngizokubawa ukuthi umthetho lo uede umthetho ukuthi abantu abadala nabagibela imbhasi lezombuso noma itrain le yombuso bangabhadaliswa bakhiphe baberegise amakhadi wesasa le bangabhadali njengoba kwenza itola bo Pick n Pay nabo banibani why lapho bayabenzela abantu abadala babehlisela imprice and nalendo yokuthi abantu abadala nabathenga basawasebenzisa yini amakarada abo lawo umholo phese imali ayibhadalako nakathenga ubrotho ngale 11 rand yena angabuthengi nge11 rand njengami akhiphe ikhadi lakhe lomholo ehliselwe ngizokuthokoza lapho.
Thank you very much.
Batho ba go dumelang. O bua ngo ke Mantashe Mosese. Ke tswa ko Kagiso. Ke rana center ya disabled people ko Kagiso. E ke ratang go bua haholo ka yone. Ke a bomme ba ba senang dintlo ba dula le bana ba disable ka tlung. O fumane ele sofa ele stulo ba dula dithining ba robala jwang batho ba. During the week ne re biditswe ko ntlong engwe ka mo Okonotsho re lo rapella ngwana mongwe o kulang ke a le sono. Ke kopa ho tswa go di social worker tsa rona ba se ba favor tle aba fe batho ba ba tlhokang dintlo di a tswa ko Randfontein. Chairperson ke na le pile kana ya batho ba baholo ke na le pile kana batho ba baholo aba fuwe dintlo batho ba disable ko Kagiso mpolelle gore ke ko mang ko bua le ene re qalelle fatshe re ngwadise batho bao ba fuwe dintlo. The other thing ntho engwe hape ke ya bonkgono ke sebeletsa mo tleliniking ya o dirile Maponya. Ha o bata batho ba le ba ka ntle ha pula ena batho ba le ba montle ko dirile Maponya ha bana shelter. Kliniki bula ka 7:30. Ke a kopa Chairman. Thank you.
Okay.
Dumelang bagolo. Na le bitso ke Master Pistole Lizane ke tswa ke le ko Kagiso. Che ke kopa botsa man gore ya ka le tlile mona ne le tlo bua ka bill le bo di chapter le bo all this document ana le tlo ya ko makeishene na lo re teacher yone because ke tlile mme ke le betse le bitso la ge wa ntho tse tshweu a re ga re tsama tshwantse re tsama re tshwere this chapter ka ne bitswang ena simolotse ka yone re tsama re tshwere ana le tlo re educator na ko locationeng. And then number 2 da mo Kagiso che ko Kagiso go na le di center tsa batsofe mara di kwetse. Now how do we going to deal with that particular issue? Ke utlile director mo la introduce the officials tsa Johannesburg a kitse le ko kae but he didn't mention gore in the West Rand Krugersdorp in particular le ko mang ga le batla thuso. And check what we gore these things are the monitoring. Yaga na bua gore no, we must begin to monitor the service. Ke mango dilang ka monitoring committee. Ore ka yang kwa ene re re kulandlule ya ba repile ugogo and then kopa case. The police mewa ntshweu. The police le ba trainile na. Because ha koka tshwarisitswe or ha koka tshwarisitse ngwana ko court ba tsa sebaka. Ho tlisitse ba bua ka bo di DNA ke yona ne DNA height and so on. And then you trekela ko morago. So I'm saying come to I che when I comrade Sipo, I mean Mr. Sipo, yeah.
Sanbonani mina ngipuma eJameson Park engaselisedi ngikhulumela abantu abadala amalungelo abantu abadala ekliniki anyathela ngeenyawo abakutholi usizo mabafika bafika lapha kuthiwa mabafola ulayini abantu abadala elayinini and bavuka ekuseni baye ekliniki. And lapha batshele ukuthi mabajoin ilayini baqede 2 hours bangakatholi ukusizwa. Manje besicela ugovernment kuminister lapha weze health ukuthi make ayevakashele kule ndawo akayobheka. Ene angalayili makaya lapha ngoba kuzathola sekulungiswe yonke into. Afike njena lapha nokuzobona ukuthi amalungelo abantu abadala awahlonishwa kokanye. Bafolisa ilayini ene ngabo one kuthiwa ikliniki iyavala kuyiwe lunchini. Akunamuntu osalayo aqhubeke nokunceda abagulayo. NangolosiHlanu kuthiwa ivala ngo-1 until Monday. Abantu kosabajike ene kucounta nabantu ababadingayo ngelanga lomsebenzi ukuthi sifuna abantu abangaka makufika kunqamula iline kuthiwa mabuye the next day. Iloko ke ngidlulisayo ukuthi besiyacela kuminister ukuthi ake aye kule ndawo ka abhekisise kahle maybe sokhona ukulungisela noma inganceda umphakathi especially kakhulu abantu abadala. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Dumela bagolo kaofela ba le baeti ba ba tlileng ka mona. Nna le bitso ke nna Zakaria Thamage ke tlhaga ko Kagiso. Nna sello sa ka ke se ba setseng ba buile dibui tse dintsi di se di tsere mantswe a nne kere ke tlo wa bua mabapi le bo ditleliniki. But now go na le seo se sengwe gape se ke sa utlwang ba se touch. Go na le dipampiri tse di tswang tsa batho ba bagolo ko SASSA tsa tšhelete ya SASSA batho ba modimo e nnyane. Ene ka mokgonne ba buile ka ba buang ka teng go na le dipampiri tse tshwanetseng batho ba bagolo ba di thole tšhelete tsa bona ba kry-e ka re 500 go ya ko godimo. But now ba batla gore go tle batho ba 75 fela ene batho ba bang re kula kaofela re tsamaya ditleliniki kaofela le bona empa go tla jwang gore ba kgetholle ke kopa fela tharollo e gore why tshwanetse ba kgetholle gore go tsamaye batho ba leng gore ba kula go feta. Ana motho o kulang go feta ga a tshwane le re tsamaya kaofela tleliniki batho ana ke di batho ba golofetseng fela ba tshwantseng ba ekeletswe tšhelete na. Ke potso ya ka ya pele eo. Sa bobedi ke se ke kopa potso e nngwe gape ke batho ba bagolo re na le re ba go ga re le bakana go na le batho ba na le dikoloi mo. So koloi tsena di a patalwa ka kgwedi ka selemo. Ha o ile o patala license ke 700 rand 760 rand. Ke ntsha mo paying ya ka ke sala ka government a gona mo a re thusang teng re le batho ba re phela dikoloi tsena re ya ka tsona re o reka di grocery ka tsona. Ga gona gore o ka tlhola o rekile o tsamaile ka taxi e go ise ko shopong e bewe ka wena ka yona e go tlise gae. Ke a leboga.
Thank you. Last one.
Sanibonani bantu abadala. Ninjani? Ngwaselisedi mina ngwaserathanda eHeilsburg. Nginenkinga enkulu kakhulu ekhalisa abantu abadala. Baba blockela ugesi. Bathi bapheke ngani abantu abadala baba blockela ugesi. Toqala abantwana baba basebenzi abantu abadala. Ba support abogogo. So aba block ugesi bathi ugogo ayenzeni. Cela ukwazi laba bayilungise le ndaba. Why bangakhipha abantu abadala emarendeni? Why mele ubhadala indlu? From kunini ibhadalwa leli? Ibharisile mara usaqhubeka uyayibhadala. Nomntana kusazoyibha iphela nini kanti yona? Inkinga le abantu abadala. Naseyitolo ke hayi bama ngeenyawo abantu abadala. Ayekho umuntu obancedayo. Ungaya eShoprite, Pick n Pay whatever. Abantu abadala akekho umuntu obaphathisana njengabantu abadala. Iyani phambili bantu abadala. Izinto zethu zathathwa zathengiswa abonyawupe. Thengiswe emahostel. Ngani abantwana basebenzi. Basebenza uganga. Akunama ground abantwana bekho laba participate khona for ukudlala. Iport isifile kuyenzakalani kanti? Ngiyabonga abantu abadala nilungiseni. ngicela ukuthi lokho enikhuluma ngakho ukuthi nakupromote ngicela nokulandelele nikumonitor nibone ukuthi kuyasebenza na awuthi epolice station ebusuku ivaliwe yo reporta kuphi bathi khona lokho abakulethile kushodile futhi izalukwazi azikutholanga zo reporta kanjani izalukwazi ngiyabonga abantu abadala.
Thank you. We are now moving to the second row. They are here. If you were here and then you heard that your points are covered, you don't have to suffer and stand there unless your points were not covered. But if your points are covered, just feel free to go and sit down. The ones that are on this row, because now we are starting with this one and you've been standing for quite a while. Because I get rid like an older person's bill. You can't be the chairperson of older person's bill and abuse people. So, as we are moving with these ones, go and sit at the last row so I can see you. Once we are done, you will come so that your knees can rest. Ne? I am not an abuser. You see, hanga nyala ko gago awa wa bona re ngwana ha o tlo tshwariwa hantle. A re starte ka number 1 ka mo. Tswela pele mme 3 minutes ska lebana.
Dumela. Oh. Dumela batho ba baholo. Lebitso la ka ke Mary Gureti Zwimbo. Ke tswa mane in Palm Springs. Everton. Bothata ba ka bo boholo. Re na le bese e re filweng ke mmuso hore e tlise batho toropong. Bese eo ha e fihla South Gate. Bashanyana bana ba di taxi ba stopile batho ba lahlelwa ka ntle ba ya South Gate ka maoto ke na le tshabo ya hore ba kana ba reipua kapa ba nkelwa dintho tsa bona ke kopa hore lona batho ba baholo le re hlokomelle taba eo. Point ya bobedi ke hore mane in Palm Springs mo ke dulang teng ha hona di facility tsa bana empa re identifyile land mono e within 30 years infrastructure ha re ya ho yona I'm sure ke na le 5 years ke matha mono hore e re fe go to HOD ha iso sign ha hona le batho ba ka re thusang hore re ntlafatse site eo ha ba yo hobane ni site eo ha e matleng a rona ke khona ho traina bana mesebetsi ya matsoho go beha stina ke manufacturer biodiesel ha ke na land ya ho lema sunflower ene ha ke batle ho shwa ka neho ena e ke fueng ke modimo ke batla ho e fa batho ba sebetse ka yona le bana ba rona ba mathang ho thwe ha bana mesebetsi site e nunung ha re ka ga ifumana le batho le bonkgono ba tla ya sebeletsa hona teng hobane bonkgono ba rona mo baneng ba sebeletsa teng ba tebelwa every day. So a ke sana thabo ya mokgwa o bonkgono ba treatwang ka ona ke free le batho ba dibaka tse ding ha ba mpatla go ke tlo ba thusa ka mesebetsi ya matsoho.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bolelang John mola le mo feldi number ba tla le lata ko mme o free o ratlo le thusa.
Dumelang batswadi. Ke maboteng Konwane ho hlaha Everton Lerato Service Center. Chairperson, ki laka taba ya compliance. Because compliance ki yone re bolayang. Point one, re fihlile mekgatlong e meng and took over. Ra thola the previous boards di jele tjhelete. And ya ska fundua because ba jele tjhelete. And then nothing is happening to those people. Instead, rona ba kenang, we are suffering. We don't comply.
Makola thusa ha John asiyo. Makola abi au thusa ha John asiyo ska ba fitisa bomme bao. All right.
I don't comply because how it's doing nix ka batho bana. People just get away with murder, nothing happens. Ke ntho e re dutseng ka yona hona tjena. We don't comply. It's the second point, interdepartmental relations. Hona le pampiri tse tshwantseng ho tlatswa ha masepala. O matha ha masepala o bue le monyako ho sena motho o kwetswe. O bo kgutle. O bo ipotsa hore is the municipality existing or jwang. Ke bua hobane ke hlaha Emfuleni. Most organizations di a sokola. Ha di kgone ho thola approval Emfuleni ka baka la hobane batho ha bayo, there's no service. So ke kopa hore ntho into consideration hore some of the things ke tse entsweng ka bomo. It's not because hona le mathata. And the other issue happen, in rural areas, baba migration, baba nditropong. How set by the standard? Kenana government must take that into consideration. Kisenkile Evertoni, kibelo standard is a Santoni. That's totally incorrect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dumelang ke Matlhomola Mogwera from Deep Tlou. Re kopa government e re thuse bagolo ka harmful spiritual practices. Bana ba rona le ditlogolo, including ourselves, re latlhelwa ko mafetlong go sa tshwanela. Re jelwa ditšhelete tsa di pension, especially ba itse hore re kreile di package, ba tla re bolella hore bana ba rona e tlo ba profeta kampo dingaka tse kgolo, ba tlo ba le di double story, a gona ngaka e tlo tshwanang le bona. Yaanong ra tshoga e be re nagana hore tšhelete ya rona e ka re tlo fela ya pension, maybe ha re ka investa mo ngwaneng o go tla go loka. Bana ba ha ba tswa mafetlong ano a bo profeta le bongaka ba hlaile makopokopo ba sena nix. Ha o kgone le go kopa tšhelete ya hao back hobane ha o e kopa ba o jwetsa hore kwena ha e jele kgoho o ka kenya letsogo hara molomo wa yona na. Le baruti bana ba difelekwane le bona ba renkela bana re jellwa ditšhelete. Ha re robale bosiu re qetella re na le di high blood pressure because of such things. Ntho engwe hape, it is very difficult to get bana ba ileng di addicts hore government e re thuse. Bana ba roa kang batswadi re ntse di up and down no Fox Street, re ntse di up and down no Deep Tlou ke di jara. Those kids or those guys are not removed till today. Bantse ba abuse batswadi ke di police station, it is still the same thing. Ha ona ntho etsahalang, re kopa procedure eno ba e check. Another thing ke abuse ya batho ba baholo from the financial sector, di banka. Motho nkile di loan before a fihla dilemo tse itseng, a setso le pensioning, ba o harasa, ba o etsa ntho tsena kaofela, ba o tshosetsa le hore ba tla o nkela ntlo. Di interest tseo ba di addang le di charges tse ba di addang mo di accounts tsa batho ba bagolo are so grossly unfair, but because ba tseba hore batho ba bagolo ha ba di shebe ntho tsena, it is happening. So the financial sector must be looked at in detail because our people, our elderly are suffering, ba ntse ba sa tsebe. O qetella le hore motho o na nkile loan kampo credit card kampo anything e mo thusang ka tjhelete. O e patala until o ya hlokafala, because on the account what they do now, ba kenya interest every month, and as such you are just paying and paying and paying. It makes no difference on the account, and ha setse o hlokahetse ba lata molekane wa hao ba re estate monna wa kolota.
Thank you. Arienko John yano. Arienko John.
Dumela. Ke tlo kopa ke bale TV hanyane. Mama le kae ma? Chokoe. I wish you le ka ditlega batho ba lo tax free. Ben belego gona ke tle ka bill entle for batho ba ha ba sa hlola ba hulelwa tax at all. O tla bua sense ke yona democracy re votetse. Mama o kwana ke dilo ke njifam. Trizik hona any government facility. We are the only NPO approved twice isokatola funding. This is my question. What is it that social development can do? Yona it has structure say looking say a comply, because you cannot say rebuild the NPO re comply ka tšhelete tsa boma tsa rona. Then the same NPO rebuilding in community. Why can't the government it's into the Department of Education? Jwale ka education e hela community school. Department of Social Development it a building. It be comply ka di rules tsa bana kaofela, so that o nkwe batho le kitchen motho tsamani lo gana organization ka ga building yani, because o tla go Triziki ha clinic o re ke a clinic yo, you know what does it takes o re comply go Triziki ha ona home ha ona next. Now this is my problem, di bylaws sa lona kaofela di khonontsha ho hlokantsha batho ba basole batho ba batho. Your bylaws di shapa motho o mong le o mong. Mamgwe, if you are there representing us, can you please consider how to Triziki lend that thing has so survey? There is no way when our community about 20,000 Triziki. How will NPO from your city? How not to comply at that place? Now, to be honest, about Banabaluna, who never talk about fail. If you look at government, can I let 30 years government in a until like a RDP? Banaba banyetu babana banyaloka mo babata ditenda ba ditole kalamang la government ha ba ka tabatla le ba ga le rape ha ba ka tabatla le ba re le goba tsoma ha bolona rona ba boma ke bo matla ba re fe ditende ke bona ha ba sa re fe ditende ba retseng sa ba ka taba le be mona he bana ba lena ba le rape ba le tshele ditšhelete. Mama we RDP yo e thotsa ka to vote ka 94 ke le ngwana se ke na le msadi le bana ba ka bana le bana o ngkhonu le tshena government a songetse nix mara ke mo voteela le nna. So the honesty part ke re ha ke se ka beya mathaba o le mona, if o batla ho solve a case ya motho a moholo le ngwana beya motho a moholo le ngwana, se ka beya motho a moholo a le mo o mo jwetsa ka tokelo tsa hae ho sa na ho le siko ngwana le nona le ditokelo. Maponse mosadi after maponse man ba mo jwetsa ngwana le nona le ditokelo ba yena hore ne ke le mano o mmema me go itse nna ke na ditokelo ya sa bua eo ya o qetela kopa fela ka 10 seconds setting ya o qetela ke na. Mama motho a motho a sebetsang o pension na 60 years. Motho a sebetsang o qala pension hana le motse kae motho a sa sebetseng o pension na le nako kae, because batho bana ha ba hiro from 50 and ha ba qualify for pension. Ha re hlola ke mafu kuna batho phelang le rona ke gana organization mam community change makers ke na le bonkgono ba bangata mpe ka organization ha ba hlola ke mafu ana le 58 57 re mo pataka di 20 rand because ha qualify for pension. Mara motho a sebetsang ha ya ka tlung o yana 60 o thola pension, mara motho a sa sebetseng yana ha e thola. So ne ke kopa hore ka ngo fa batho bana ba sa sebetseng mo go ka tho nka kopa hore le fe batho ba sa sebetseng ha o le batho ba holo ba sa sebetseng ba fe tšhelete pe tšela bana 50 years o botse go wa mendile molao thuse batho. Thank you.
The next one.
Sanibonani. Gama uzandile Tlou from Chokoe Center eSoweto. Ngizokhulumela iagriculture. Kwi-agriculture sicela ukuthi basisize ngama-seeds nama-tools so that izokhona ukuzitshalela, and then kuma-center amanye ama-yard awekho enough for ukuthi senze i-garden, so sicela basivumele siye nasey'kolweni sitshale nakhona. And then kuma-old age home Mauya une case uya subs or hospital. Bazothi a case akifuna ukuthi manje uphume endlini uye kuma home. Mawufika kuma home, la home told ayikho right. So besicela ukuthi ama home mangabe ama home athumele ama address awo police station nase hospital. Bahamba ucheck ukuthi lawo ma home are right. Uma ufika abanye uthola abazali bethu balele phansi bathi impede iyashota. And then lastly, ama retirement village. Tina isizwe simnyama kakhulu asiwasebenzisa asiwazi besenswa abantu laba bamhlophe. So ngicela wasenzele ngoba tina abanye emakhaya si abuse abantwana. So usele indawo yokuthi uzoyohlalaphi. So basilungisele ama retirement village afana nalabo abantu aba white. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much.
Sanibonani, igama lami nguMakhosazane, ngibuya eKaqoto, Izola 1. Ngithanda ukukhuluma ngama caregivers. Ama caregivers, they don't have registered certificates. We have a challenge of this regard. They need to be registered with the council. Kona if kune problem, like abogogo baya abuseka kuma homes, ba abuswa yiwo ama caregivers. Sicela ukuthi ugovernment asisize ngokuthi aba register nge-council. Khona if reporte i-caregiver kwi-council, iyakhona ukuthi iluze umsebenzi wayo. Whereas khona manje ama-caregivers ayakhona ukuthi a-abuse abogogo, makaqeda lapha ahambe ayofuna umsebenzi kwenye indawo awuthole. Kanti mangabe sesomreporta kwi-council baya kwi-record yakhe babheke ukuthi usebenze usukeleni lapha kade esebenza khona. And then angeke azawuthola umsebenzi. Okwesibili futhi ngizocela ukukhuluma ngama old age homes. Sicela ukuthi ugovernment asitshele ukuthi if ufuna ukwenza i-old age home, ama documents afunakalayo imaphi. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Dumela batho ba baholo. Lebitso la ka ke Joseph Dipholo ke tswa ko organization Johannesburg Older People's Forum. Na kopo ya ka ke koponyana e nyane. This one it has to deal with the court. How ya ko court, there's this rule ya hore ha motho a hlekefeditse motho batho motho o moholo ore a hlekefeditse ngwana, there's a register ba kenya lebitso la court e kenya lebitso la mo. You won't be able to wait anything unless how ka tsebala urukila wa kwalwa for GBV or for anything to do maybe le motho o moholo, then court e tseba o ka point out and you won't be able to get work or dintho tse tshwanang le tseo. Now our problem, Minister, we are not able to access that court, really, that register, really community. We'll need to access that register because Runa really so I cannot just go in the court if it give the register. I cannot honor that right. Only some other people because it does not specify or know what type of person oka accessing register a court. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dumela, lebitso la ka ke Leboga Mohulazi. Ma'am Mutle, thank you very much for you to update us about the bill. This is really covering us, and I am glad that you mentioned integration. Integration, yeah, how, because everything social development, and it's quite a lot for the social development. But need help or harka integrator, like you were saying, maybe effective immediately, both subse, municipal, and everybody in the government sector. On that also, inspection, the inspectors, I get to be while inspectors. re na le serious problem re le batho ba bagolo ga gona inspection in any way le as much as healthy go na le di-facility tse ding tse e leng gore they are trying by all means gore ba re nke ko pele, but the other it depends also on the township location wherever tse ding they are complying, they are doing the right thing to look after the older person, but some they don't really care. The other thing, ke kopa demarcation, me Motli. For demarcation, gang gona tsama ailo reporter ko police station. Sometimes hona le a problem whereby you don't want to go to your township police station. You prefer to go to your aunt or your child to go and report. Then, haba botsa nkgono, where you coming from? He says, I'm coming from that location, and then which means now she has to go back or he has to go back to report because of demarcation. Kikopa, if you can cancel the demarcation when it comes to the older people, because if they run away from the township, not to be seen, not to be hit, not to be, please look after them. And rekopa protection, trust, confidentiality when we do all those things. The last thing, please do micromanagement to the people who are saving the older person, because you go to the clinic, police station and all that. The very same people who are supposed to look after older people sometimes are the ones who are really babatlhekefetsang. Re kopa with micromanagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Amen. Tlou endlini ngiyabingelela dumelang. Mina ngiuJoyce Mthethwa ngibuya emndeni elindani sizwe. Si under health department aba dischargewa clinic be stroke bama backache ba transferelwa elindani sizwe. Ngikhuluma ngeabuse. Abogogo siyazi baya abuswa, sithathelwa imali, abazukulu abanye bayangenelwa babafuna imali ngenkani. So sithi ke sibogogo masi cry out any, let us raise ama voices, sikhale, sikhulume, sikhiphe konke eyifubeni zethu okusihluphayo, ngoba if singenzi njalo akukho ozosilamulela. Mele thina sikhale bezwe abantu. So ngiyabonga ukuthi namhla sinala sizokhala khona. Ngiyabonga ukuthi futhi abogogo bathole le ndawo. Sibonga yona ilokhuza i-social department. Ngiyabonga kakhulu, and what make me glad kakhulu engitholile, if we are abuser, we are a police station, makungumntwana we are esikolweni, you report to principal, we are kuma social worker, asiyenike khona kulabantu. What make me happy as a gogo today, we claim our cases on cameras. Asisahlali le, siyabonga kakhulu, ile engijabulisayo ukuripota kuma camera. Awusikuthwile ubuwali ka di track suit, hey ngathi ungasisupply.
Thank you.
Ngiyanibingelela nonke endlini, mina nguThoko ngiphuma emndeni elindani sizwe. Angizwakala? Oh, nguThoko ngiphuma elindani sizwe emndeni. La ngizokhuluma ngeabuse yabantu abadala beabusewa abantwana endlini zabo. Abomama, fanele abomama, abogogo abomama bathole bafundiswe ngendaba ye-will. Abomama, abogogo fanele bayobhalisa ama-will. bayenza iwill ngezindlu zabo. Ningahlali nje ngoba bayazithatha labantwana. Fanele nenze iwill kutholakala ukuthi ugovernment athole elokishini kube khona indawo kuhanjwe indawo zonke kufundiswa bogogo ngama-will bathathiswe ama-will. Ugogo anganiki umntwana ozohlukumeza abanye la endlini indlu yakhe kodwa kubhalwe phansi. Siyacela ugovernment asitholele indawo kuwo wonke amalokishi ukuthi kufundiswa bogogo bathathiswe ama-will. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Machero ni dumelang. Ke leboha sebaka le motsotso se le mphile sona ke Maggie Rambuta o tswa ka Brixton ka bodulo ke Fitas. Nna sello sa ka ke se bangwe ba ka se fetše Venda ngwana mawe. So ke tla bolela Sepedi. Re dula le ba bagolo le nna ke yo mongwe wa bone na. First ke re thanks for government wa re thusa ka tšhelete. E ya ka wena o re e berekisa bene ka re ke nnete yona re di a le bana. Sello sa ka ke se bagolo mo ke dulang gona re dula le old age. Batho ba le mo ba dula ona ba dumelele o ba le motho wa ba tlhokomelao ba no tla ba home basic sometime o ba bona bedi o rateng bja le kumanele gore motho o a lwala ga a lwala o dula a eteng ya ke bolela nnete ke na le batho ba difference 5 ya bona ba ba tlhokofetseng ka go fapafapana sometime re ba mmona after a beke sometime ba mmona after 3 days ke dula ka Fitas ntho e nkwe sha botlhoko ke yo mongwe wa community leader mo ke thusana le bona ke molemi e re kwesha botlhoko mo re sa gone o tseba gore na ntho e so e die ya ene ene batho ba borena ba tswadi ke a le kopa motswadi ya leng ka ba tlhoya ya e bereke please o ska tšea beke or 2 days o se ya tsebe gore papa o robetse bjane mma o robetse bjane o mongwe ntato the last one o tlhokofetse strateng sa ka mo 12 ntato ke mohlobo o mošweng ka no re le khaladi so re na le bothata bja re itlwaetse bana ba ba di street kids a o gona batla ntato a tla tlhokofala ba kreile ba mo tšeetse dilo ka moka ba mo tlhobotse diaparo ke tsena le ena kereke ba mo tsentšhitše ka gara toilet and ntato before 2 days before ntho e etsana na e tla dula mone ke berekela ona ke mo ipereke a tšhaba o mpotša re a kopa tswetswe ga ke tsebe re ka e etsa bjane gore batswadi a ba setse ba dula ba be le motho a ba tlhokomelang goba maybe government a romele motho once a week or twice ba utlwe dillo tša rena ke reportile mo committee mara thuso a ke e kry ke sello sa ka o mongwe mme re mo kry-ile a tlhokofetse after 2 days a kentse monwana ka mo molomong we don't know when ke a leboga
Thank you ma ska lebala o ya ko John.
Dumelang o buang o ke mme Maslepe ke tswa ke le Westland mar mo Hlakeng Randfontein ke tle mona ke itumeletse ditaba tse monate tse ke di utlileng ka bill ya rona bonkgono ke itumetse thata fela se nkutlwisang botlhoko batho ba moholo mmo e le bonkgono ke warisiwa ke ba setseng ko ditulong tsa rona se ke se kopang ke gore a ba etse tsela gore ba tle ko makeišeneng or batho ba ba kgethileng ba bone ba di-social grant under bone ba etse gore ba bitse bagolo ko diholong ba tlo ba tlhalosetsa ka yone bili ena because ya ka rona re tlile ka khumbi nagana lekeišene le le kana kang ene khumbi eo re ba kana kang so bagolo ba ha ba itse next ka botlhokwa ba bili ena ke se ke se ikopelang sa bobedi ke utlwile go buiwa ka protection e buile ko ditleliniking ko dibankeng kae mare mo mesebetsing ha ka utlwa ka gobane go sampe go na le batho ba 60 ba na le matla a go bereka e se ka go rata ka baka la gore ba na le bana ba tlhokafaletsweng ke bomma bone ba na le ditlogolo tse kulang ba senang gore ba ka tswa mo ntlong yaanong taba e tshwana le eo e ba pateletsa go bereka taba eo le yone ke kopa gore ba latelle mo mesebetsi ya batho ba tshwana le ba because 2,000 ranta ene e re e kry-a e nyane bagolo e nyane ga ke itse lona le bona yang so ke llela fela gore ba tlise ditaba tse monate tse ko rona ko makeišeneng ko diholong kampa ko dikolong ke a leboga.
Thank you. Next one.
Protocol observed. My name is Chokoe Selina Mutswane. I am from Western Corridor team in West Rand. We interrogated chapter 3 as per memorandum. The speaker there from chapter 1 up to chapter 5. So we thank her for that. The team, the community-based care and support services for older persons, from page 10 to 15. The program are restricted to active aging activities, e.g. choir and games, and does not consider other activities for the elderly who are not interested in the activities. As we are old, we are not only interested in music. Others can be interested in soccer, netball, hockey, whatever game you love to do, which are not. Then, in response to this concern, the elderly feel that they should have a say in the kind of activities which they wish to participate in and should not be limited. As we are sitting here, we should not be taken for granted. We have many potential. We have potentials. We have skills. So they cannot say, just go and sing. You are not taught how to sing. So how are you going to sing? Yes, in church we can sing all, but with music, you need a dedicated person who has studied music. Number 2, the second resolution, as per the discussion that we had, was that there should be dissemination of information from the elderly to the monitoring social worker. So if there is a social worker, the government must make sure that everything that they discuss, the social worker who is responsible for that area should be able to be there so that the information should come from top down, not down top. It should be from top down.
Thank you, Mama. The
the
other one
monitoring
can
social
go to
worker,
John.
The monitoring social worker must then be.
Thank you, Mama. I go John. John, the client is coming.
Bagolo dumela. Bagolo dumela. Ki dumelise le ditulo tsa bagobane ba ba mo morago ga ka mo. Dr. Chokoe and everybody there. Bagolo. Ka boripana ka gore re file nako e rileng. Ke tswa ka ko West Rand. Nna ke le Peter sebe sa batho kolwane. Rona re tswa re le ka ko West Rand. Re lekile thata go tsa matsapa a gore re buela South Africa yotlhe. Re buela elderly people of the whole South Africa. Ka di point tse di latelang. In reviewing this section, it was agreed that responsibility of drafting programs should not lie solely on the members of the Executive Council. Dr. Chokoe. This responsibility should also be done through consultation with the monitoring social workers, which are aware of the direct challenges facing the elderly within the community-based care centers. Bagolo, ka boripana ka re, mo di melaneng e ke buileng ele. Ga ra tshwanna go tseelwa ditshwetso ke batho ba ba kodimo ga rona fela, rona re sa kenyiwe, rona re le elderly people. The social development should appoint social workers, the very social workers, to disseminate information or to teach various base community MPOs. Eke bolelang bagolo ke gore re na le di social worker tse e leng gore di teng ko social development. Yaanong bone batho bao a ba rutiwe ba etse melao or ba rutiwe melao ba bale ba tle ko rona re le di NPOs ne ba re rute wa e bona the social development monitor these social workers to say you must go to A, B, D organizations in West Rand, for example. So bagolo e ke buang ka boripana ke gore a go diragale go gotlo mo South Africa. This can not fela ko plekeng e itseng. Thank you very much.
The next speaker, Oscar translator, because Rena Leona ba teng ba translate. Otherwise, ba tlo jela nako. Thank you.
Dumelang, ke Daniel Kezani, ke tswa ko West Rand, ko Red Flag, ko 2 and 3, ko basing ya Mzimhlope. Re lathatsa ka go hloka batho ba ka re thusang ko basing ga go le gore na ba rona ba golo batsadi ba bagolo hobane re tshwantse re soko re tsamare ko ditleliniki re go lata dipilisi go ka etsagala jwang gore re be le dipilisi teng ko base care center mono mo go etsagala jwang gore re fumane mapodisa ko teng ba ka tang gore tlhokomela go itse mathata a rona otlhe a rena lone ka gobane se ke se lemogile re na le mathata a mantsi ko Tlou mme fela ha re fitla ko base center re tlhoke motho o ne gore re ka di tsaya ntho tse ra di fa tsone ra di fa bone gore ba kgone go re thusa re lokolege bo re leng teng re na le go utlwa botlhoko thata ke re go utlwa botlhoko thata ha re lebeletse ka nako tse dingata bagolo ba rona ba etsa up and down ko tropong motho a kena officing e itseng tshwantshantswe fa a isiwe ko officing ele ke bonolo bofe bo ba ka re tsetsang bone gore dilo tse re kgone go di fumana re le ko care center tseno seo le re bona maybe sometimes le ka tlhokagalo e ka re le di funds re na le mathata a tsone ko di care center ne re kopa gore puso e ka re ka kenela mo gare ga ntho tsontse ya lebella gore mathata a rena le yone a ka kgona go re thusa yone ka tsela e ntseng jwang security a re lebeleng bomme ba rona ba tla re teng ko di care center motho ga a wele mono mo o thusiwa ka tsela e ntseng jwang ka gobane ga rena dinese gaufinyana mono mo ga rena sepe se e leng gore re ka thusa ka sone like maybe the first 18 to tshwana le tseng a government e le ke bojotlhe ba bone gore dilo tse batho ba e leng gore ba relevant gore ba tlegelle ko go rona mo go rona ba golo ka nako tsotlhe ba be le rona tlhekefetso e re le mo gone makeisheneng more especially rona ba re dula mekhukhung go thata go boima a government e le ke gore e re batlele matlo a rona a re sa itseng gore a ko kae o ngwadisitse ntlo ka 1996 go fitlela gone ano ga o se bo fumane RDP house ya gago e kae re go go bang go tlhoka gore re tsebe gore matlo ao a rona a re a khale ra kwadisitseng a ko kae ga re itse gore re ka llela go gomang so ke one mafoko a ka otlhe anwa le ka gore thusa mo di basins tsa rona le ka gore re improve di sengwe le sengwe mme ona a bolela ka taba tsa bo di sports ntho tsa o tshwana le tseo di teng dilo tsa go tshwana le tseo ko mme fela ne re kopa gore a le rona ba ba re na le go na le matitšhere go na le mamistress ko dipeiseng kwano kwa ba e le gore ba retire ga go kgonagale jwang gore bone ba ka kgona gore thusa ka bona re na le ba ba sa kgoneng go bala mo dipeiseng tsa rona ba re sa kgoneng go saena ba sa kgoneng go dira sengwe le sengwe re tlhoka le education ka mantswe a mangwe ko dipeiseng tsele tsa rona e be teng mono mo ke a leboga thank you
tla ke baakanyeng ne ke baakanya lentswe bagolo ke ne ke baakanya lentswe gore ke tla ke bue sentle le nkutlwe protocol observed mme bagaetsho ke bitswa Isaiah Mothibedi ke mo go yone group e ya bofelo e fellang e ko Westland ke tswa ko Krugersdorp ko Mansonville kana ke khanya rona re badile amendment bill wa bona jaanong re dira se go tilweng re se dire sa go correcta so that e tle re ha go diriwa melao e be le gore di clauses tseo re di ba ka ntse rona khanya rona e remeletsefa mme anong ka gore nako ya tsamantse ke bua yana e re ke direle ka pele ke tloga ke kgaolwa jaanong ha re tswella pele fela ra re there was also a plea from the elderly that when caregivers are providing these services can they be provided in dignified manner by also ensuring that caregivers have access to adequate resources which will ensure this example gloves nappies etc therefore any person who is unable to provide the service in a dignified manner or with a lack of resources should not be permitted to provide the service. That's a home-based, not at all. According to section 12, no person may provide community-based care and support services unless the service is registered in terms of section 13. The team then proposed that an addition be made compelling the persons to be vetted and that it is not left open to just anyone. Another suggestion, I think the last one, was made under section 15 with specific reference to monitoring. The suggestion was that can the Department of Health also monitor the services provided by the caregivers in community-based centers? The last one, I'm sorry. There was also a discussion on the implementation of services in rural and hostels. A concern was raised regarding non-compliance in these areas and the need for the service. There was a proposal that the government develop mobile services with specific focus on the elderly.
Thank you. It's Kalebala Yako John, that document. That document I go John or a Katalimo. All right. My team, you can come. Likudite Itlangiano, Timelayak. You can carry on, sir.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good afternoon, all. When I looked at the Act and the amendments to the Act, I don't think we were explicit enough with abuse and especially financial abuse.
You forgot your name.
Colin, sorry, Colin. I represent an old age home. I run a residential facility where we look after 85 old people. The problem we have in the old Act is that from the definitions, especially financial abuse, not explicit. And I think with a few of the suggestions, we can maybe improve the Act and help older persons really facilitate. So we know there's the unauthorized use of funds. We have directed and misappropriation. That happens a lot. There we have cases that can be taken to the police. But the exploitation by trusted individuals, caregivers, family members, those things are not really taken to the police stations, because on what grounds? Most of the time family members said, no, but my granny or my mother told me to do this, and the police don't act upon it. I think we need to be more explicit. Coercion and manipulation, pressure tactics. How many of the older persons sitting here today have been forced by their grandchildren, children, etc.? Mommy, give me the card. We also need to speak to fraud and scams. A lot of old people lose money through fraud. I know of one individual who lost 1.6 million rand at 67 years old. Identity theft. We need to empower the older persons to please look after their IDs and their SASSA cards. Those are documents you do not share. The withholding of funds. We have some people who deliberately restrict access to necessary funds, which lead to unmet basic needs such as food, medication, and housing. Mismanagement, failing to manage finances appropriately, resulting in financial hardship to the older person. Then another type of abuse is creating dependency. Abusers usually establish a situation where the older person is reliant on the abuser for financial support, which can lead to increased vulnerability and exploitation, and the manipulation of assets, convincing older persons to transfer ownership of property or assets under false pretenses. I think the big problem we have now is that you can go to the Master of the High Court and on taking Gogo with you, and maybe Gogo doesn't know what's going on, but signs over all her powers of attorney to you. This is something that is not monitored. Who gives the authority besides a doctor to the Master of the High Court to allow that to take place? Social workers need to intervene. I think the biggest problem I've seen in my residential facility is exploitation through relocation. People who abuse the elderly want to take them out of our care. And it's, sorry, sir.
Right, to John now. John is at the back.
John? Thank you very much.
Enkosi. Molweni nonke. Igama lam ndingibukelwa memani. Ndiphuma eWard 119. Ndizawubulela kumama besipresentela lana. Ndima ndikhathazekile uthe mayitho forums banengxaki. Forums banengxaki nyani. Apha into ekhathazayo kuthethwa ngabantwana abahlukumeza abantu abadala okanye abogogo. Ngumzukulwana lo sithetha ngaye. Ndihlukunyezwa yiloo nto yalo mzukulwana uqale na 16 years. Ungenisa igirlfriend, umakhulu kwenye ikamera, umzukulu kwenye ikamera. So mayingenisa igirlfriend bagqibele sebenomntwana. Umama wentombazana kamfuna umntana wakhe nomzukulu. Lo gogo uhlala nalo mntwana. So njengoba besenza lento mayithi ufuna ukudla uthatha yonke into lapha efridgini. Ugogo ugqibele selethi makamkhuphele ngaphandle. Emkhuphela ngaphandle seleqalisa ama drugs. Ukumkhuphela ngaphandle amse emkhukhwini. Kulapho ke ngoku sengenisa ichomi zakhe. Uthi wenza igrocery ithathwa yonke igrocery lapha endlini. Into ebendicela xa abantwana be-under age kungoku nje lo mntana sithetha ngaye una 19 years bena 16 years mayiqala lento. Bendicela abanawuzama na abantwana ba-under age basiwe kwizikolo zabantwana boluleko ingqondo okanye bayofunda kwizikolo ke lezo zabantwana abangevayo. Ngoba umakhulu wakhe uthi anayo iright yokuthi ndingavalela umntwana ngaphandle ndimvimba ukutya. Usengxakini kophulwe yonke iminyango. Xa uthi iyavala iyakhiya wophula iminyango wophula ifridge. Nantso nje into esandikhathazile. Ezinye ke andizuthetha into ebisithethiwe bendisahlukunyezwa le abazukulwana. Angazi isolution ngaba yintoni na nantso into ebendicela.
Thank you.
Dumelang bagolo. Ke ntate Mogashwa from Mogale ko Kagiso. Bagolo baka fa le nna gape ne re phapata matsogo ka puo e monate re tsamaye e tota e re itumedisitseng e tswang mo ketapeleng ra e lebogela ke ko Mogale City pleke le Westland ba bantsi ba re ke ko dipolaseng yaanong re setse re tshwarwa ya ka batho ba ko dipolaseng ga mme a tlhalosa fa le ntate ole a bontsha gore o bereka le mang wa ko Joburg ke kae na re di itse dilo tseo ene taba ye nngwe ke re tlile re taboga kganye ke kopa mo bagolong pampiri e ntse le bua ka yone re mo lefifing ga re na yone kore le tse le di bua tse dintsi ke nopotse fela tse mme bua ga re na tsone yaanong ra e kopa bagolo kapo le re bolelele gore re tlo e kry-a kae ke kopela gape di-social worker tsa rona gore le bone kgang ba e kry-ile ka bonako e leng gore ke tshepa gore bagolo ba tsere nako ya go i-discuss mara rona re biditswe fela ka speed ka lebaka la gore re ko dipolaseng yaanong bagolo ya ka re tlile fa ba re di-indigent mara ga o ka bona re tsena ko shopong le ga re ya ko di-service tse re dikoloto di a tshabegang di-account di a tsena ga o tsena mo shopong tšhelete e patelwang ke batho ba le ya borotho le rona re patela yaanong ko go rona kwa re na le bagolo re na le transporto e leng teng ya center ya rona KCA transporto eo e eme ka lebaka la sponsor se re senang tsone re tshwanetse gore re ntshe madi re bone gore na go iwa yang yaanong bagolo ga re ntse ke lebetse mo chapter 3 go na le bo ba reng ke batla go bala ka sekgowa bagolo ke mo chapter 3 discussion section 11:1 mara ko tlase e re then still under the said section there was an addition under made home-based care to not only restrict the service to frail older persons but also the semi-frail. The reason for the addition is to further endorse the purpose of the service, which is meant to improve the health of the elderly. Underline, improve the health of the elderly. The possibility of reintegration into service center rather than allowing the elderly to deteriorate further. But it says here,
Sanibonani nonke. Umam Patricia Gubheka lo wase Mufulo North. Dobsonville, stroke Dobsonville. Nginama factors I3. The first one, ESP. Masikhuluma nge-ESP, sikhuluma nge-expounded, le etholwa abantu aba below i-category ethize yemali. Ngicela ukuthi enani sicabangele, sisebenzele i-government, sayithola imali, yaphela. Now, masithi siya apply kwi-ESP, we don't qualify. Ngicela ukuthi leyo nisicabangele, sihlala ezindlini ezabadala. Sinama dependents ofuneka siwabheke, sibheke even ne community. Ngicela ugovernment asincede lapho. And then two, igolo kuyakuthiwa funeka sitshale kuzo, but sinenkinga esiyama organizations la ezikolweni abo principal nama SGBs abasebenzisani ngokufanele. Sicela ukuthi nalapho ni intervene ngoba abantu bayakudinga ukudla, abantu abasebenzi Ngiyabonga. And then okwesithathu Dobsonville Police Station ayiservice ngendlela efanele. Now, ake sithi mhlambe mina ngu ANC ngenhlanhla ne ngiyazi ukuthi enafuneke upresse kuphi uye kuphi. Mawufika lapha yana we are not serviced ngendlela efanele. Kuya ngokuthi ubani. Funeka uze uthinte ubani. Ngicela ukuthi imithetho ebekwayo isetshenziswe ngokulingana. And then kwenziwe nama induction la ema police station ngoba ngempela ugcina uyi mocking stock. You are being sent from pillar to post. Ugcina ungazi ukuthi indaba zakho zithini. And then lastly ngicela ama social workers a few ngicela ukuthi ngiqashe ama social workers so that azokhona ukuthi ayenze umsebenzi ngokufanele. Kube khona nama ward committees. Ama ward committees awayenza umsebenzi. Ngiyaxolisa nje ukusho kanjalo. But ngicela ukuthi nabo nibafundiseni ukuthi ababambisene nama social workers. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you. Mama, the speaker before you, I saw that document you were reading that day. I want to see it go, John, because you were reading from a beautiful document. Don't be shy to take it to John. We are going to incorporate those suggestions you were putting in. So, Kiabona Ntate udutsi fatsa. Sanka isa document go, John. Pela I'm chairing, I can see. I document go, John, and that. Next one.
Dumela, libitso laka, ki Teresa Mokoena from Kotalabusha, cohort 119. Nna ke tlile mo ka sicelo sa hore ke na le problem ya ngwana, ke na le ngwana ke motlogolo wa ka. Ngwana o mme wa hae ha batlo mo nkela certificate. Ngwana ke mo kentse sekolong hona from early 3 years a dula le nna. Ha batlo hore a mo nkele birth certificate. Ngwana o bophelo ba hae o ile o phela bophelo bo jwang. Because ka jene le ke mo isitse sekolong ke mo kopela ko sekolong 7 years ka jene. Ko sekolong ba mo nkile ba mpoleletse hore ha jara e fela a sena certificate ngwana o tshwantse a khutlele morao. Jwanong ke kopa o tseba hore na ke efeng social worker tla mpolellang hore na ke etse jwang ka bona because mme wa hae o teng wa phela ke ile ko Protea ba ngrometse Protea ko court ya bana. Di social workers a Protea di re ha o gona ha le re mo nkele certificate because a se ngwana rona di parents tsa hae di diteng. And ntate wa le nkgono wa hae ke yena tshwanetseng anke kaofela bona ha ba kgone ho mo emela ba mo tlamela. Jwanong ke kopa o botsa hore nka ya kae nna hore ngwana a kene sekolo o end up ke ngwana moshimane o end up ile ngwana fela o mathang fela. Thank you, ke a leboha.
Okay.
Sanibonani nonke ekhaya endlini bogogo nabomkhulu. Lo khulumayo uSimangele Sithole waseDobsonville. Engikhala ngakho ke mina kokunye sebekushilo but eDobsonville Police Station amaphoyisa khona asebenza angafakanga ama-name tag. Okwesithu engikucolayo ngicela ngapha eMarshall Street eGEPF masile lapha nasitholungisa imali ama-queue made kugcwele abantu be-two ports. Masicela ukuthi sicela abantu abadala i-queue akunayitulo akananex abasinikezi sicela umanager sisayombiza uthi ubusy nize nifike ekseni nihambe ngabo 3 ningancedwanga. Ngizo ku private sector. I-private sector iyahlupha kakhulu lapha eDobsonville Mall. La Pick n Pay EG. Mawungaye kwamanye ama Pick n Pay like eMaponya kune queue yabogogo. Mawufika eDobsonville akukho mawuqala uthi bakuthatha bakumsele bayasarasa. Ukuthi kumele senze njani ke ngeprivate sector isenza kanjalo nase Shoprite yakhona imall yaseDobsonville ayihlokomeli abogogo. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Manibonge lelithuba endilifumana namhlanje regarding nale bill endibona ukuthi siza nama proposal kuyo. Xa ndijonga engathi iqalwe 2022 Then you look in Lela, Eslunga corner. So good 2024 now. So again, sisaza amenda this bill. I don't know ukuthi bona ibathatha ixesha elingakanani. Then thini izosithatha ixesha elingakanani. So ndifuna ukuthetha ngezinto ke mina ukuthi yoqala yoba i-security kubantu abadala, kube yi-property, kube yi-water and sanitation. So apha kwi-issue ye-security, dijonga amakhadi abazali whereby xa benikezwa in terms ukuthi bakwazi ukuhola i-grant. Fumaniseke ukuthi i-grant yabo ayisarholwa ngabo, seyirholwa ngomatshonisa. So nibabona nje belana ugogo, most amakhadi wabo ahleli komatshonisa. I don't know ukuthi i-social department inga-strengthena kanjani i-security. So ukuthi ogogo notatomkhulu bangakwazi ukuphana ngamakhadi wabo kukomatshonisa bokuhlala apha ekuhlaleni. So that means abasayidli imali yabo. Uyomangala nje kuphela kwenyanga ugogo uyozathola umholo lo piece yemali mhlawumbe oyi-200 kule 2000s ayithole mhlawumbe after 7 days. Thola ukuthi bahole early, ubhizi umatshonisa uya ngexesha lakhe emabhenki ukuyobaholela ukuthi athole le mali yakhe. So I think we need to strengthen security on that part. Then kube khona issue kikaphinda kwe-security. Sinama project that are taking place kwiindawo zokuhlala. Abogogo bahlala emikhukhwini. Utholakala ukuthi mhlawumbe mokufaka i-storm water endaweni yokuhlala. Then ufumanise ukuthi xa kunetha imvula kwi-storm water singaphansi, amanzi will flow ezindlini zabo emikhukhwini yabo. So ukutsho kanjalo. End of the day utholakala ukuthi there's nothing that abazoncedwa ngayo after that. Busy disaster management, disaster management iza nengubo eyi-1 namatrasi abayi-2 nyana, then after that iqedile kanjalo. So ngiyazibuza ke mina if kuyi-national, ne-provisional, ne-local, we're supposed to basebenze together, kodwa i-social department within local ingakwazi ukusebenzisana kakuhle ne-disaster management. Uyazibuza ukuthi because once nje uthola lo problem lo scenario, once you consult indaba ye-disaster, izofika nalezi zinto ezifew, ayiwakhanga umkhukhu womzali, nabutshile. Then after that uya ku-social department, ithi yona into ye-housing, ithi thina asakhi istructure. Then uzibuza ukuthi now ukuphi ukusebenzisana lapho. Then siza kule nto ke ESP, one cover la, but akanikhavanga kahle because same department of social department iyabazi ogogo ukuthi bafuneke notatomkhulu bathwale i-ESP. But end of the day sebeyisokola ukuyithola iphinde funeke i-renewe after 6 months.
Dumelang bagolo, o buang fa ke morwa ke tswa ko Westland ko Kagiso. Ke tlo nna mokhutswane thata, ke tlo bua ka section 2, ka input from section 2. Substitute of the word needy instead of the phrase of older person was proposed. Re propose older person because we're talking of older person. Ya no ga ba re needy, I think we are all needy, Gerentsiana. Basare the needy, bare older persons. Another substitute was made with regard to using the existing facilities for older persons as multi-purpose centers. We proposed that the facilities should be used solely for the activities of the elderly so that it is specific to their needs. Gare berekisa di facilities elena le holo ebe gote e berekisiwe gape ke community. Ra itse gore community e senya yang bagolo. Lo ba fa yone ka weekend ga le tla mantaga go tlhakatlhakane mare ke holo ya lona. Keng go sa te ke ya the elderly e berekisiwe solely ke lona fela. Ya no bagolo ga ke na mafoko a mantsi because ke tshwere ke tlala a ka kra breakfast And re promise to breakfast ga re tla fa gate e
Ra re o
fedile.
tlile lata,
Ya
ba
no-
jele breakfast.
Ke tlile le se le simolle. So ga e kgona go tlhaela go ra gore ne le sa re count. Because ga ne le re countile le ga o tlile nako mang tshwantse o e fitlhela ke re bagolo. Ya no ga re tlhaetse a ke tsiro e tsayang ka lunch ke gore re taboge ya no.
Dumelang bagolo, ke nna Joseph Madumo Phake wa mokgatlo Build One South Africa. Bagolo ke khale re sa bonane. Ke tla ka mona ke tla ga West Rand Merafeng Forgeville. Ka NPO ya Docas Tseku, NPO Forgeville Kokosi. Ke complaina ka hore ke tla ibala ka sekgowa. Police in Forgeville doesn't take our older seriously. When opening cases of rape and of nyaope that abuses the grannies, the docket have been stolen, hide away. My house was vandalized, cable stolen. Guns are everywhere, especially at night. Sasa grant doctors cancel very sick person, even the disabled people in Forgeville, Kokosi. I have a bladder infection. Every time I went to Baragwana hospital, giving X-ray medication, that doctor every time canceled me. I don't know why. Saying I'm still young, I must go and work. Rude doctors, evil one, must immediately be removed. Carltonville, Wedella, and Forgeville had a lot of complaint about doctor, the one doctor. Other people giving money, holding registration of ID. No one see. Kamo Tlou, kamo ring ya gagwe. Batho ba tsena ka di ID. Ba re bella ba ntsha le di tšhelete. Di tswa mo ID. A ke re wena o bone o fodile line or duty fights. Ke bribery eo ke fraud. Ene bagolo gape re llela ka gore ma-Pakistan. Re llela ka ma-Pakistan ma-China bo mamang. Ba khothosa bomme ba rona. Le mo di shopong ka o sane bupi ke ranta, ka o sane ke 100 ranta. A ke re bagolo ba itse ubala. Gape ba counta motho wa pere yang o tsena mo shopong. Ke kopa ba tlogela go fa batho bana ba rona di poison ya ka go West Randa ko bana ba ile gore ba sekolo ne ba lo campa. Bana ba 74 ba ile ba kula. So a re sa batla another death. Apartheid re sutlile. Re kopa gona nong re kopane kaofela. Re build one South Africa. Bosa, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yo bagolo dumela. O buang ke ga di fele ne. Ga di fele mtshano from Dobsonville Ward 47. Bagolo nna ke na le sello sa ka ke ntlo. Ke apply ntlo for 22 years. Ha ke ya ko housing ha mphile fukule le tsitsipetseng. Ba tla ba ntha ba re no mo systeming e tla leng. Ke ye ko teng ke mo systeming tla leng. Be ba mphele reference number. For 22 years. Fana nang ke shapile ke stroke ke matlisa taba ya ntlo. Ke nna mo ntlong ya mmangwana. Bana ba mmangwana ba batla ntlo ya bona. Don't sense nna ke re eng. And gape mo strateng se re nna mo sona mo Elias Mtsweledi. Ha dipula di tla ya ka ditlana be re tshogile dipelo ka matsogo because metsi a teng a thoma from ko dimo kwa gate ka ha thoma ka tsena ka strata go tlo fitla mo CTM go mo Shoprite mo go tlase kwa gore ra tshoga re senegetso re latlhegetso gore latlhile batho ba mo latlhile and go le leng gape ntshong go tsa motloko ke le last ke tswa ko Springs ko epilepsy South Africa batho ba modimo bana ba rona ba balwalang ba falele bagolo batho ba modimo ba tsholaga ka tsela e siameng because plekela o tsena fela wa e bona ka kontle gore yona se ka tshwanang go nna motho o go teng wa lwala tsena mo plekeng era ha o tsena fela o fela ka mogwa moroto di bethe tsa bana di wile mesamo e wetse gore a gona nix mara gona le motho fao o berekang fao o sa ntšhelete fao batho re kopa le lwanele le batho ba housing I simply 22 years ke metse ntlo gona o swa ka ne re moloka last year o na le 34 years ana a emetse ntlo ko housing gona le nix a kreng bilo ba tlhokafala ka mokhuku a tšhela ka mo mokhukung a mara gore motho wa motho o sokola go fitlhela kae gona ne ha e sa le ke lwanela ANC ke na le 16 years ka joko ke 64 mara ga ke na ntlo mara ke re ke lwanetse mokgatlho bagolo ha ma thuseng ka nnete mara go tlosa botlhoko ka nnete go tlosa botlhoko
Sanibonani, igama lami nguPrudence wakasoni Sikwari, ngibuye old age home Sandringham Gardens. Into yokuqala engizocela ukuthi government wethu kwi-social development size ngayo ukuthi ama-caregiver lawa asiza abantu abasemakhaya athole ukufundiseka ngoba abantu abaningi banakekelwa imindeni yabo engenalo ulwazi kakhulu njengabantu abane-dementia. Nginama-families ake agada abantu. Umuntu one-dementia siyazi ukuthi akukho lula ukumgada uma ungakwazi ukum-understanda. Ama-family agcina bangala athi bayabathuka ngoba abazi ukuthi ukugula lokhu. So engathi imindeni ingasizakala ngokuthi ifundiseke ukuthi babaphathe kanjani. Okwesibili ukuthi bathi i-protection izokwenza ukuthi labo kuthiwa bayaloya basizakale. Ngicela i-explanation ukuthi bazosiza kanjani ukuthi imiphakathi ebaphila kuyona ingababulali bathi bayaloya. Okwesithathu ukuthi bakhulume ngokuthi abantu abahlala emakhaya amadala kade be-restrictwa ukuthi kufanele ukuthi udinga usizo. Mengabe siba-registera khona into esetshenziswayo ebizwa ukuthi i-DQ95 bese kuya-checkwa ukuthi iscore sakho sithini ukuthi usizakale. So ngicela incazelo futhi lapho ukuthi uma umuntu esakwazi ukuzenzela okuncane kodwa edinga ukuthi aye home, how are they going to score that? Okugcina ukuthi ama-caregiver sinakwazi ukuwa-reporta kwi-social development uma e-abuser ogogo nabomkhulu. Kodwa sigcine ngokuhambisa i-report imiphumela siyitholi siyababona sebesebenza kwezinye indawo. Sicela ukwazi ukuthi lama-report ethuhambisayo aphele laphi. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Margaret. I'm at the Care of the Aged in Tukomsra Estate in the West Rand. I've got a few points, but there's not enough time. My first point is, I want to ask the government, please, to, in the rural areas and in the hostels, there are many old people there, especially in the rural areas. And it's far from clinics. And they haven't got money to go with the taxis to doctors. So I'm begging you to please help the people with mobile clinics, because the people need it, especially the old people. And there are a lot of old people in the rural areas. And then I want to ask if the government can create a channel whereby they can advertise the old people, because there are so many old people that doesn't know about this. They don't know the benefits. They've got so many benefits which they don't know about. Especially where I come from, Tukomsra is a small place, and there's so many old people there. The people need to know about things like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sanibonani nonke. Sanibonani baholi bethu and all protocol observed. Ooh, I feel so proud. I feel energetic. Ukuba phambu kwabantu abadala. Ngizizwa ngibusisekile futhi at the same time. Mina nguzanele wakandlovu. I'm from Deep Tlou, Soweto. Ngizocela ugovernment wethu. Ugovernment wethu uyakwazi ukusifakela ugesi, uyakwazi ukusifakela amanzi. Bengicela ukuthi ugovernment wethu njengoba isection 1 isho ukuthi mele abantu abadala banakekelwa ngisho bavikeleka ngisho. Even our chapter 2 ku Bill of Rights iyasho ukuthi elderly people has the right to a safe environment. As ugovernment wethu besicela or imbono wokuthi how about each and every house whereby kunomuntu omdala khona babe nama cameras, because these phones are the ones ezenza ukuthi sikwazi ukubona ukuthi abogogo bethu bayahlukumezeka ngoba siyazi ukuthi bayasaba ngisho ukureport. Ozovuma ukuthi camera ingene kwakho umuntu omdala izosenza nathi sebenza ngabantu abadala ukuthi sibe nogqozi lokuthi sihambe siye phambili sikwazi ukuthi silwe 24/7 ukuthi nangu umuntu ubonile enzakala ukuthi
And a camera le izobe ifakwe government, isacela government extra safe environment for abogogo bethu. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you.
Dumelang. Le kae? Sanbonan. Ninjan. Good afternoon. How are you? All right. Mina igama lami uThandazwa waga Peter Isibongo, and I'm 27 of age. I think I'm the last born Yagmu. So now I deal with older people. I train them mentally, physically, and spiritually. Though we don't get funds, but we're doing this out of love because it's fundukunakekela abogogo. As we know, abogogo, they are the pillars of the community. So that's us giving back to the community, but we don't have a facility yethu, it's there, but we can't accommodate bona. We have abogogo already, we have 48. And ngize nabo abanye bakhona laphayana, they are known for boxing, they play soccer, so they are healthy. The oldest is 86. God Constance? God Constance?
Udlala boxing.
Yes. She does boxing, soccer, netball, and. So our cry, scaling space, sisebenzela a multi-purpose, a Cosmo City. Sorry, I forgot to say that. We are based at Cosmo City. We are an NPO. Renalbo Gogo, as I've said, 48 of them. So spaces now so can accommodate, of which remita twice a week, which is Tuesdays and Thursday. 1 hour 30 approx. We are all about sports and healthy lifestyle. And then nerukopa hore ba re thuse with the funding to get them nutritional food to assist them on their road to healthy aging number. And then also nerukopa hore le re zamenyana ka transport to transport them from their houses to the gym, because banna the extension tse di fapaneng, go na le 2, go na le 4, go na le 6, go na le 10, go na le 9. So tse ding tsa teng di kgole from where we are training. So some of them had to walk, and then have us like if they don't have money, they have to walk. So if we can get help on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was very interesting to hear how you engaged the bill. Even though others, when I told you that please don't bring IDP matters, you brought them faster. It's all right, we are engaging. I can see others are proposing that this bill must cover South African citizens so that they must start to go to SASSA at the age of 35. It's your proposal, it's fine. We will. From this. Okay. We are going to allow to respond. The NCOP. And then I can see that after that, I will allow Honorable the vote of thanks. It was really interesting. For those of you who came with documents, I could see that you were reading from your prepared documents. I really want to sit down with my team, look at it, and incorporate it as the. So we don't want to write for you. So, but I'm really, really impressed. What impressed me is your respect for the 3 minutes. I wish other committees can see how older people really respect time. When we say 3 minutes, it's 3 minutes. You should attend other portfolios of crime and other ones of transport. They want to speak for 20 minutes. You respected the 30 minutes. For those who didn't get the breakfast, we are really sorry, but those who arrive on time, they ate breakfast. And I understand you wanted to eat your breakfast while sitting here. What we can promise you as the chair of this portfolio, we don't want a situation where we engage you when we are going to put inputs into the document. After we put your inputs, we just disappear. As the chair, I'm going to squeeze my team that after we have consolidated everything, I can invite you again and to present to you how the document from Gauteng now looks like. I think you will appreciate that, and you will be happy to see what you stated. It is also there. It's what it will go to National Department. I'm going to allow Mem Mutle to come in and respond, and after her, I'm going to allow Honorable Du Plessis to come in and other members. If they say they are covered, it's all right until we come to Honorable Mekwe to give us the vote of thanks. Mem Mutle, you can just respond.
Dumelang. Ya ki ratile ge le bolela gore le ka thaba gore other older persons ba rutiwe ka bili e ka act ya lena kere ka ge ba setse go gae and ditaba tse le di utlwang a ba di utlwe and ke nnete re leka ka matla gore re cover South Africa yo yotlhe ka ge ke tlhalositse ba bang ba kwa ba bang ba kwa ba bang ba kwa nna ke mo Gauteng ka jeno be ke tlang ke Mpumalanga so a re kgone cover batho bo botlhe so re ka thaba ka moso mo dinakong tse di tlang gore inviting the social workers tsa rena di ruteng ka Older Persons Act a ke re ke boletse ka molao Principal Act ka gore o ka se itse bill o sa tseba act o tshwantse o tsebe act gore o tle o kgone go tseba bill e mpšha e a re kopeng ke bona ba mekgatlho dikipa tse pink purple orange le kgopeleng the social workers to come and share information le lena okay ya bobedi ke utlwile hape go bolelwa hape ka kana ke ba bang ba kgopetse gore ba nyako go rutiwa go di senteng ka ge ba bang ba sa kgone go ngwala na rena le program e pila a kitse gore go sa le go iragalang ka yona ya Department of Education mo ileng gore na ba ibitsa carry good mo na ba rutang bokoko go ngwala le go bala re na le ka ge papa ke mama a boletse ka gore le na le tsebo e ntšhi ba bang ke matitšhere ba retireile manese ba retireile ba ba nna le bereka ko di-kitchening le tseba go ngwala le go bala le rutile bana ba makgowa ba godile ebile ba ke di-lawyera le ba bang so tsebo eo le ka e share le ba e leng gore a bane tsebo but re lebeletse gore ka integration e la re e boletseng gore re a tlhokana all the departments go assist older persons ke engwe ya ditlhotlo tse re ka di kgopelang gore Department of Education e lebelle gore di program tse ding tse na di bereka tse e leng gore kile di a khathiwa re sa di tlhoka as government to our older persons re na le SAPS re boletse bontši re boletse ka SAPS mo e leng gore ba na le molao o e leng gore ba o bitsa National Instruction 2 of 2012 every police station is in a le ona and a re direng mo go re tseye maikarabelo a go ba bitsa re ba botse gore national instruction e reng about older persons. Ke tsamaya ka molao wa gona ashu wa older persons. SAPS, the way act e leng ka teng, every police station e na le this. Are tse maikarabelo, especially rena re tswang go di service centers, go ba tshwenya. Re nyaka gore le re botse ka molao wa lena wa SAPS in relation to older persons. Le dira eng? Station commander, re kgopela otle during whether a re emele a ke re itse re na le national days, re na le ka June, re na le ka di 15 tsa June, re na le World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Ka di 1 tsa October, re celebrate International Day for Older Persons. Ka di 21 tsa September, re commemorate a World Alzheimer's Day. Ha re ska emelang matsatsi ao di national events. Haibe protection, haibe 365 days. Ya protection, hari hashtag protection for older persons. Haibe 365 days. Reska emela those 3 or 4 days. Grandparents Day ifitile last week ka di 6. Ke tshepa hore go di kereke hara bona any politician or any person a tlo bolela ka botlhokwa ba go tlhokomela bokoko. Ke re mo October a re so fitli bile ko September re bolela ka older persons month ke yona or social development month a re berekiseng monyetla o re le mo go ona wa welfare or social development month re rutiwe ka molaotheo wa rena wa older persons. Re boletse ka tsona di awareness ke utlwile ba bantši ba bolela ba kgopela information on awareness tsa ka dementia, Alzheimer's, because koko feletsa ba mmofile or ba mo file dipilisi overdose because wa Roma o tletse ka mojareteng or wa tshela or o ya go mo makhelwane ha o feletsa bile a timela. So ha re tsebeng hore re ba tlhokomela bjang batho ba go ba le dementia, Alzheimer's. Re tsebeng ka botlalo le re ka sebe di nurse or di mara a re tsebeng hore motho ga le so re mo tlhokomela jwang he re dula le yena. Re boletse hape go bile le question ka dintlu tsa masepala or ka ntlu ya hao e leng hore he o ka tloga mo lefatsheng e tla feletsa bana ba e rekisitse or eng. So go na le gore mo nakong ya September go na le go ba go Department of ba Justice ba bana le Wills Week. I think ke mo September e fitile. So a re berekiseng gore wish tsa hao ke eng. Ke a hopola mme wa ka o tlhokofetsele a le 8. Wish ya hae na engwetse mara mo bukeng it doesn't serve a purpose because it are Louisa ongwetse. But if anangwetse will di wishes tsa gage mo willing na e ka be e le gore ka jeno a re thulane re le bana ba motho. So tse dintse ke di social issues tse leng gore re lile ka metsi re rile so nka se kgone di araba as officially wa social development ko but ke tshepa gore ba di notile. And le taba ya gore caregivers tsa rona they need to be vetted because ke abuse nkgono ke move from this area to the next ke ntse ke abuse because we are saying no person if ke abuses an older person a ka dumella ke molao wa bagodi go savisa any older person molao wa gana gore I should render any service to an older person. Papa o botsisitse gore who who should access who should access information abuse. The social workers tsa rena, the forum tsa rena, ba e leng hore ba bereka le an older person, not any other person, because nkabe ke le member wa community ke abuse an older person, ke nyaka hore ke bone leina la ka, because if leina la hao le appeara mo registering ya social offenses or any ya rena ya social development ena ke bua ka yona ya Minister of Social Development e leng hore minister must keep a register ya convictions. Not any person can access that information, unfortunately. But if your name is wrongly put, wa utlwa hore it was nearly allegation, and it was proved gore ase wena ke somebody else, the minister o na le matla a go remove your name on that register. So ke yona kgopelo ya gore yes re boletse ka gore the cases needs to be reported, and ke a thaba ka gore o mong le mong o boletse gore na re sa tsebe maphodisa ba health ba na le responsibility, especially more protecting older persons. Re boletse go na le o a ileng a raise ya Department of Home Affairs, ke tshepa gore ga gona benong register ya rena re try gore re integrate le other departments. Ga gona benong if o tsentsha leina la koko mo registering, already Department of Home Affairs verify your ID number gore o ha belong mo OPA, Older Persons Abuse Register, o belonging ko registering ya bana, because age ya gage ke yona ya mathomo e leng gore ha o enter ID number e thoma e bile tshwanetse e ko Older Persons Register, not ka mo baneng o ko social crime, because re na le di register tse malwa tse ileng hore di lebelletse di categories tsa batho bana, batho ba bagolo le ba ileng hore ba social crime. So ke tshepa hore mama gape o boletse gape ka taba ya hore re micromanage some of the cases. We are re tlo micromanage, but re tlo make sure hore o mong le mong o tseba mmereko wa hae. As social development ke tshwanetse ke itse, as health tshwanetse a itse gore mmereko wa ka o fella mo, and then go tloga mo itse ya ke mang. So ka yona ele ya integration and collaboration ke mo re tlo itseng hore a re gatane menwana, a re gatane dikhontse, each person knows what he or she is supposed to do mo mosebetsing wa gagwe. So ke tsebe gore ke share efeng ba mo di funding. I think social development provincially e tla nthusa, and re boletse hape go na le o a ileng a raise ka taba ya di power of attorney. Ke tse ileng hore he na re sa molao wa rena na go sa kgone go tsenella thata mo di private facilities, because mo di private facilities tse ileng hore nda di sa registera le social development, na ile mo ileng hore ge o tlhokofala ile hore o ne o le mo home motlhomong ya mago a ke tse gore tse ileng hore na di sa registera le rena. Once o tlhokofetse ne e bolela hore ge o tlhokofala organization e o leng mo go yona e tlo tseya motlhomong o tsene wa ntsha million, go na le party ya tšhelete e leng hore o tlo family ya hao e ka se fitlhelle, or ntlo e na o dula mo go yona ya ge o le an independent living older person, family ya hao e ka se kgone go e accessa because o ba file matla. So ke dilo tse e leng hore he re tsena mo di home tse ding re tshwanetse re tsebe hore di rights tsa rena tse ding di ba limited because o ba fa matla hore in case ke tlhokofala ke le fa hore ha ile hore na ke home room e ya ka family ya ka e ka se access because ke le file matla mo godimo ga yona. So e nyaka nako ke tshepa hore ba di colleagues tsa ka di tlatla di khona go tla mo di facilities tsa lena go share le lena. Ke ya leboga Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honorable Duplessis, I want you to engage a little on points that you feel you need to stress, and then I will allow other honorable members to come in.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I just want to move the microphone closer. So on listening to the engagement from the stakeholders, it's very concerning that a lot of the issues were over and above the very heart-wrenching abuse that the elderly are getting from the hands of the community and family members. There was a lot of issues about housing. This is something that I've experienced quite a lot when I'm engaging on the ground, where we have an old lady, Mamohape, who's 102 and she's still waiting for housing. So that points to the importance of a whole-of-society approach, that every department in government needs to engage with each other and every sphere needs to engage with each other. And that's one of the things that the bill is seeking to amend, but there are questions about how exactly that will work, and within negotiations we will ensure that that intergovernmental or that different parts of government work together to benefit the elderly in our society. There was a lot about health, from mobile clinics to how our elderly are treated. That's incredibly concerning. The billing issues that we find in every municipality, and when I engage with the community that I work in most, there are people who are inundated in debt, but they are unemployed just because of billing. We do need to look at our indigency policy. We do need to make sure that we implement the benefits for our elderly. The other issue that I picked up quite a bit was SASA, and that is an engagement with social development internally that needs to take place. And one of the big questions, and I opened with this, is how do we communicate the rights of the elderly with the elderly? And we maybe need to look at something like a hotline, something that's easy to remember, because we cannot expect our elderly to engage on social media. If I think of my grandparents, unfortunately they've all passed. None of them could write an SMS, and my one grandfather used to call it the devil's mechanism, which is a cell phone, because he couldn't work it. So we really do need to look at how we look after the people that were before us, the people that have set and fought for this country in different ways, but also lived under times that were less favorable. So that going forward, I want to actually stop there and have a moment to say, if we do not respect our elderly, who are we as people? And in every single culture within South Africa, no matter where it is, we are taught to respect our elderly. Because one day, as the chair said, we will all be in that position. And what do we do then? And it's more than that. It is also genuinely, we here exist because of the elderly, literally physically. So going forward, please engage more. Please have your voices heard. Your voice is important, and do not be afraid to engage with the elderly in your community and with the people that share your age and that share your concerns, as the official explained the importance of. So again, thank you. We listened to every concern, and I'd like to close it with, let's make sure that government works together and that they don't blame each other, but that there is a unity to make sure that this country works. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, you can come in and then follow, you can come as the...
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. As a young person sitting here, I'm very concerned. Ukuthi, we have arrived at a stage whereby we need a bill in order to protect our elderly against us, because usually the abuse, it happens from us as young people, and it's very concerning that we have arrived at a stage whereby our elderly needed protection from us. But we have heard your consent, especially when it comes to induction in terms of this bill, so that even an elderly in the rural areas, they are aware that they have these bills that protect them. And I think we will actually, as a committee, do this engagement not once. As Chair said, that we will be in continuous engagement with you going forward. And also we have noted in Dabayama caregivers that they must be properly trained, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who are taking care of our grandmothers and grandfathers, and we need to ensure ukuthi nabo ba developed in dealing with elderly. And also we have heard in terms of there's a challenge to some of the grannies to access health care. These are the matters that we are going to look into, and we will ensure ukuthi we are trying our best to come up with solutions that can assist going forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Evans.
Baie dankie aan onze voorzitter. Kom ek skuif net gou 'n bietjie my gadgets uit die pad uit. Onze groot mense, onze ou mense, is aan goud. Hulle is nie eintlik goud nie, veel meer werd as goud. Hoekom moet daar 'n bil wees vir onze ou mense? Moet ons onsself vra. My ma self is 93 jaar oud. Hoekom moet daar 'n bil is dat ek my ma moet respekteer? Hoekom moet daar 'n bil wees dat ek na my ma moet kyk? Hoekom? Dit is vanselfsprekend dat ons na onze ou mense moet kyk. Baie van onze groot mense het nie skool gegaan nie. Ja. Maar hulle wysheid is van onskatbare waarde. En dit sal nooit tussen skoolbanke geleer kan word wat ons groot mense vir ons kan gee nie. Mense, ek wil sê baie dankie dat julle uitgekom het. Ons het geluister en ons moet werk aan onze groot mense, aan onze mense wat meer as goud werd is. Baie, baie dankie vir alles wat julle vir ons gedoen het. Was dit nie deur onze groot mense, was ons nie hier vandag nie. Baie dankie.
Thank you, Honorable Mkhonazi.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is a lot. So I'm staying in the squatter camp, most of the squatter camp here in Chokoe. We have it's good. You tell me sometimes when we talk, listening, I feel a lot of pain because ezinye izinto siyayibona every day zenzakala. Masquatter camp laphaya abantu abaningi ogogo abaningi imali zabo ziyathathwa zithathwa force, but isikhathi esiningi I don't know what is happening ngogogo ngoba ibona isikhathi esingababa affected. I don't know baba uthi maybe there is anything they can share with omama. And okunye I don't know, but usually bathi abantu abaningi isilungu. If uthola undodakazi nengane yayo bonke bahleli la ekhaya badla imali kagogo, eyabi imali abayisebenzisi usho bayithola ugogo nje ofanele ahamba ayothenga. It's very painful lento le. Mina ngiyambuza umuntu ukuthi sonke lesikhathi uwe ubondloma wakho nezingane zakho. Mina I always go in and out la ngicheck abantu abaningi. Njengamanje nje abantu bakuma-squatter camp okuyibona abanye abahlala la abekho lana engabe bayizwela. Okunye I don't know igovernment ingaba neplan kube nama-intervention kuma-squatter camp ukuthi ke babe nama-visitor ama-home based care. Omunye uyahola ugeza lelo suku leyo hole ogeza ngalelo suku emva kwalokho kuphelile wabuya nemali kuphelile. Ulambile akanakudla kaphekelwe. Abanye bayagula, abanye ba-disable. Yonke lawo ma-challenges siyawabona laphandle. Manje sometimes ezinye izinto fanele ube ne-limit ngoba basuke benama-families abo. And mina bengicabanga ukuthi ngempela umuntu ethi 60 years uma enganalo ikhaya, i-government ibuild ama-shelter amaningi la izobabeka khona. Ngithandile iphathi lapha ekhuluma ethi club yogogo aba-exercisayo ngangabona kabanye babonela impompo abagijimayo ukuthi bangaphila isikhathi eside ngoba uyabona iningi abagogo bathi abanye bephuma ipension basheshe bagule bashona. It's because of stress ekhaya ngoba the same mali amadena lesarali sefanele athathe lo 2000 now athengele umndeni wonke ngala bafuna imali yokuphuza baye bafuna ukuthenga imali ezimpahla baye bafuna ukuthenga imali yokwenza amakhanda bayithatha kobantu gogogo. Kanti ukuthi kungaba nendlela yokuthi kube care workers azokwazi ukuthi abavisite mhlambe once a week ukuthi kucheck ukuthi ugogo lo hlala lapha usehlele endaweni e-right. Ngize bethinta indaba ye-abet. I-abet ngikusebenza iminyaka kuyona kodwa ugogo uya namhlanje ahlale 3 weeks akeze esikolweni. Then uzohamba uyomcheck. Hayi gogo waye ungaseze eklasini. Athi hayi lento yenu hayi mina iyangikhathaza. Bayasisaba isikolo gogo. Kufanele ukwazi lokho bayasisaba. Then la usethola u0 aphinda complain hayi mina ngiyafeyila nje. What is the use ukuthi ngiye lapha esikolweni? Sengisho lokho ukuthi ezinye izinto silazo and ezinye national sinabogogo abaningi abakhona abanganawo ama-ID. Abanawo ama-ID laba bafika ngo-19 bani la eGoli besuka emakhaya bakhona la abanama-ID abaholi imali. Manje ezinye izinto lezo ekumele sike zicheckwe ngempela ukuthi yiphi enye indlela ngoba manje i-problem i-government sekukhola kakhulu abantu bangaphandle and abantu bangaphandle ibona abathola ama-benefit ethu eSouth Africa ngoba bathi befika belungisa amaphepha. Ngithi ngizobonga lapho Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Mkonazi. Honorable Mekhoe, I think before you give us the closing remarks, you can also engage on the bill today, and then you carry on and make the closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Yeah, mhlambe mina engukutholile, I think uMamutle ucoverile izinto eziningi enizirayizile. Kodwa engicabanga ukuthi singakwenza Chairperson ukuthi yonke i-input eyenziwe ipackagwe. Angithi uMamutle ubuya ku department are relevant for those issues. Singathi this meeting icover izinto sizithatha sizilahlele ngaphandle kwetafula. Ngithi siyezwisana. sizithathe sizilahlele ngaphandle kwetafula ngithi siyezwisana. Mina kodwa engingakujabulela ukuthi uma uthi ugogo or uthathelo i-Department of Human Settlement ngoba ukuza kwethu la noma ngabe size nebill sinogogo nabomkhulu baseDobsonville. Yeah, ugogo nabomkhulu baseDobsonville. Yeah. Kula ngasikhathi nasathola ama chocolate mara sayixoxa ibill. Kodwa sahlala endabeni yani yebill. Kodwa ke asenzanga mhlambe enough ngoba kufanele siyo kuzo zonke indawo esingazange sikhona ukufinyelela. It's a pity ebalangilala khona eduduza abekho la. Saba ne-Mother's Day. Nge-Mother's Day sakhuluma ngabo dementia, sakhuluma kusho ukuthi nge-health. And uma muhle ucorrect makathi u-October month inyanga ebekwe uhulumeni ukuthi wonke i-social development ekwenzayo ngale nyanga. Ngiyazi ukuthi la ngideploye khona ku-constituency already kunama-dates esiwabekile la sizoya khona siyowafundisa ngemikhakha eminingi uhulumeni anikezana ngayo ukuhlonipha abantu abadala. And asikwenzi lokho ngoba sinoqhuku ukuthi kwathina sikhuliswa abantu abadala. And mhlala ngitshela abantu abasha ngithi mina ngizoguga ngifuna ukuziphembela indlela. Yikho ngiyenza ukuthi nina niphatheke kahle ngoba nami uma sengikhulile abezemva kwami kuyofanele bangiphathe kahle ngoba uma nginganiphathi kahle kusho ukuthi ngifundisa laba ukuthi nami dedolo abahle abadala including emabank. Mina mangisebank ngabona umuntu omdala abeza emva kwami ngiyabacela ngoba mhlambe abanye kungenzeka kube bajahe kakhulu bayakhohlwa ukuthi fanele sinihloniphe sinilethe ngaphambili ningami isikhathi eside elayinini kodwa sininikezele iqueue. Ngeke ngathi ngisebank ngabona umuntu wesifazane okhulelwe amile ku queue ngathi ngiyakhuluma bathi hayi yena ufuna nebank. Ngiyakhohlwa ukuthi ngumuntu wesifazane, ngiyakhohlwa ukuthi kunama health issues abhekana nami ngumuntu wesifazane uma ngikhulelwe. Omunye umuntu angeke aze understand kodwa kuyofanele ukuthi sizijwayeze ngoba ngokuba umAfrika thina ama-Africans in our nature singabantu abahloniphayo. Sihlonipha abadala, sihlonipha abancane kodwa abantu abadala yibe fanele basihambele ngaphambili ngokwenhlonipho. Whether nabe umkhulu kaningi sinesithi abogogo mara hey nabomkhulu bayahlukunyezwa inkokheli yami sisilindiwe. Nabomkhulu uma ungange ukuthi nje abomkhulu kaningi bavele bavale la bangacomplain ngoba once wa complainer umuntu wesilisa bathi bayakuhleka bathi ubaba onjani lo complainayo. Kufanele sibavumele uma ngabe kunenyembezi eyehlayo simsule inyembezi sithi awusithandwa sami nawe noma sowukhulile noma ubaba kodwa ubhlungu uyabuza. Angisho lo hleli phambi kwami lo yena uwesimncane uba mncane kimi ekudeni ke angikhulumi ngayo. So asitholele ama-specifics ukuthi umkhulu or ugogo endaweni ethize nayi inamba esingamthola kuyo so that portfolio committee angithi i-committee lethu liyi-oversight oholwa u-MEC uMazibuko ophethe i-social development sibabuze sizirefere nakubo ukuthi zinkokheli zethu nazi izinto nenza njani ngazo sibuye siniphe i-feedback ngalowo mthetho loyo. Kodwa engikukhalela kakhulu bengisabuza ukuthi i-older persons forum isekhona yini eGauteng? Uma ngabe isekhona iyenzani isenzelani singabantu esebakhulile ngoba yibo ekufanele balide this stakeholder balethe zonke ingxichaba zenu ukuze zikwazi ukuthi ugovernment azibhekelele sisebenzisana nabo ngoba kunalesisho esithi nothing without us. Angithi kufanele sibe khona kungadecide mina ngumuntu kodwa nami sengiyasondela ngiyakokota. Nganitshela ngithi eDobsonville ngathi sengiyakokota. Bengixoxela usisi wami ngapha usisi Louisa ukuthi ngedate ethize ngizabe nami sengumuntu omusha sengikokodile kusasa sengifikile sengukora 2 so nothing for us without us. Yonke imikhakha all the sectors of society kufanele sibe khona be it kuma ward committees fanele kube khona umuntu omdala
obhekelela abantu abadala because uzo understand ama challenges. Kuma clinic committees fanele kube khona umuntu omdala obhekele izinto zabantu abadala. Kulento zama CPF fanele kube khona umuntu omdala because you understand. Angithi mina ngakabi ne-arthritis noma sengimdala mara umuntu omdala oseka ne-arthritis osekubhlungu iqolo uzo understand ngoba already lawo ma issues ayaniphatha abo dementia abo Alzheimer and so esisesabancancanyana sigijime ngoba thina amadola ngithi asavuma sihambe siyonimelela siyoba yimlomo yenu zenu abo Butsipho si organize already abantu aba organized. What about laba basemikhukhwini abangekho organized? Ngithi ke mina ngiyazi ukuthi abantu abadala abaningi bakhona emasontweni bakhona kubomanyano bakhona nakweminye imikhakha within I society bakhona even nakuma burial societies esinawo endaweni zokuhlala. Asiyuzeni naleyo mikhakha ukuze sikwazi ukuthi sifinyelele nakulaba abangafuni ukuza kuma facilities sikwazi ukuthi siba encourage. But nathi siyinkokheli, what we need to do, we need to go out. Angithi bakuza ama vote senza ama door to door. Aswayenze nama door to door siyonifundisa ngale lama bills esikhuluma ngazo. Usisi lapha omncane osebenza labadala asibonge shem into enhle ayenzayo yokuthi ethi emncane abe nenxaxheba yokuthi mina or intshisekelo yokuthi mina ngifuna ukuhamba ngisebenzele abantu abadala. Kodwa mhlambe isicelo sakhe asibeke la asikakapheleli ngenxa yokuthi kufanele kokuqala kubhalwe phansi kuye ku relevant office kuzokwazi ukuthi I department of social development ithubele ama social worker aye lapha ayobona ukuthi ngempela ikhona lento le bakhona labantu abadala. You know kwake kwenzeka ngomunye usuku kusaphila ubaba uZola Square asase uminister we social development kwaba khona abantu. I will make an example babese Eastern Cape bathi sisebenza labantu abadala banikezwa imali. Ngiyakhumbula ngoba ngiyi-one walaba abathunyelwa ukuthi sambe siyobheka ukuthi zikhona ngempela lento lezi. Sathola ukuthi imali efanele isize abantu abadala ithenge iveni umuntu lo othi bakhona abantu abadala le van ayithengile nekhumbi uya transport uzenzela ibusiness mara ireport iyangena ithi mina ngisebenza labo gogo nabomkhulu abayino verify ukuthi nikhona ngempela na niyayenziswa lento ekuthiwa ziyenziwa na ngoba abanye kwenye indawo engengisho ngegama sasithi basithumela ingubo sithi makuphiwe abantu abadala azithathe azibukise kakhe uma kuthunyela ukudla ngabo Pick n Pay abathi makuphiwe abantu abadala avule i-tuck shop ngokudla kwabantu abadala. So i-monitoring I think ukhona ubaba okhulume ngendaba ye-monitoring yomsebenzi esiwenzayo or esenzelwa wona because kuyonceda ukuthi uma sibhala ama-report wethu abe nobufakazi bokuthi ngidoni yaletha ama-social worker nabantu abasebenza ngalento lezo ukuze nikwazi ukuthi if committees uma soyitholile information asibuyelele kuma-street committees ngoba la ngihlala khona I can tell you ngiyabaza abogogo abahlushwayo ngiyabaza abogogo abaswelayo ngiyabaza abogogo abathathelwa imali ama-street committees mawasincedise ukumonitora ngoba i-social development yona ngokwayo iyodwa angeke ikhone ukufinyelela kuyo yonke indawo masibe ama-amuba azokwazi ukuthi anhlanhlathe angene kuzo zonke indawo and report la izinto zingenzakali khona. Siyabonga kakhulu all the inputs. Ngiyethemba ukuthi your inputs kule bill azoyenza sure ukuthi uma seyiphasiswa seyiba yi-final act zonke izinto esikhala ngazo zizobhekelelwa kodwa azizukubhekelela provided asikho active. Ithi ngibonge kakhulu ngama input. It was my response. But ithi ngibuye futhi ke bekuthiwe ngivele ngibonge. Yini manje? Ithi ngithathe le thuba ngenze nomunye umsebenzi bekade nginikeze wona wokuthi nginibonge nonke ngokuthi niyekele indawo zenu niyekele imisebenzi yenu ebalulekile especially in joint because abize yazi ukuthi sino member yethu useparlament le mama ongale egcina sasisebenza naye la legislature lo uyangizwa uyasizwa isizulu kodwa seka ku NCOP National Council of Provinces siyambonga ukuthi abe khona ngoba iGauteng legislature imthumile ukuthi ayosimela le phezulu yibe kuyothi bese kufanelekile mase kufanele ukuthi ama inputs ahambe aye ku National Assembly aye parliament afike simnikeze umphako ukuthi ufike uthi abantu baseGauteng bathi 1 2 3 and 4. It is also the National Department of Social Development emele umama umuhle ohleli ngasesandleni sami saka right okwazile ukuthi eze azosichazela ngale bill. But also sibonge acting HOD neThimba ahamba nalo ele Gauteng Department of Social Development ngoba ukusebenzisana kubalekile. I'm sure, I don't know whether Chairperson Babusipho umasipala besimbizile na. Although kungasi responsibility yabo, kodwa we can't cut them away because siyasebenzisana singama all the spheres of government on the issues of social development. Let me also nginibonge ngoku-attenda nonke lama public hearings, including oza kwethu esinabo la ku committee abahleli abalidwa uChairperson Tlou ngapha. Ngibonge neThimba lethu lase Gauteng legislature elida ubaba uSipho Ncwane okuyena osihlanganisele wonke lo msebenzi nawo konke abakwenzile. I think as people we need to be counted. Sikhawunte ukuthi siwenzile ama input wethu, si contribute to development of our country by making sure that our inputs in the older persons amendment bill zenziwa as well. On behalf of our committee, I wish to thank you so much and may God bless you and your families. May you all have a fruitful October month, which is a social development month. Siyabonga, uma sizohamba sibuyele emakhaya, sengathi uThixo wethu nezinyanya zethu angaba nathi asisikelele sibe protected in our roads until sifike emakhaya si protected. Siyabonga kakhulu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mekwe. Thank you very much again to the entire team, the translators in those small boxes. We thank you very much. You've done a wonderful job. There are two announcements. The first, and they are all important. The first announcement is that there are people moving around now collecting this gadget. We accept that we are older people and we forget. And you can forget and put this gadget in your handbag. We are requesting you not to forget such that it end up in your bag or in your pocket, because they do have an alarm. If you pass there, they are going to make a big noise like you are a criminal, you are stealing an asset of the legislature. So just leave them there on your chair so that they don't ring when you leave this. The second important announcement is about a union called FAU. A union called FAU is Food and Agriculture Organization movement for the stomach. All of you, when you leave here, please use this door. That is written exit, the first one, all of you. When you pass through it, you're gonna collect your lunch and your drink, and then you can decide to come and sit here and enjoy your lunch, or you can decide to leave. Don't use that door, because if you use that door at the back, you might end up going home without having any lunch. So avoid that door at the back. Use only this one in front, on my right. So, and it was very nice to be with you. Enjoy your day.